Here we go. Waiting for my sausages. How can I start this before? How do I get good with the algorithm before all my Valhalla sausages flood in the dozens? Let's start with I love Hillary Clinton. Clinton for president. I love Biden. I love NBC. I love Saturday Night Live. Vote Joe Biden. Build back better. Let's see, my peeps. I did this last time where I was on my channel and then I go to look to see if I'm live or not, and it says I am not live. Hey Orbital, how's it going? Hey, we got somebody in Twitch land. Usually Twitch, I might average 2 comments per 2-hour stream from Twitch. What's going on, dude? I said dude because if you don't know, this is a boys only stream. Modern rock and metal is a complete sausage fest. So if you transition, if you're a female transition into be a male, you can become a Valhalla sausage. But, you know. All right, so you usually watch on YouTube? It's sausages only, bruv. You're right. No girls allowed. It's like those, 10-year-olds with a treehouse with a sign on the outside. We don't want no stinky girls ruining, making rock and metal all sexy and fun. No, no, no. Very serious business. We are dark, we are brooding, and we are boys. Boys club. And if there is a girl in the chat, I'm going to report you. Simple as that. Get him out of here. Said in disrespect, Dr. Disrespect's voice. Orbital drop frames, northern winds, they can't handle it. That's right. They can't handle the frozen black metal winter forest. You know what I mean? You have to have a layer of protection. All right, let's see what's going on. That's kind of nice to see something happening in chat on Twitch land. Let's see if my channel is telling me that I'm actually live yet. Boop. No, I gotta get right out of my channel. Let's hit home. There I am. Just gonna adjust this. Hopefully it doesn't knock the mic like it usually does. Because chat was in vertical, even though I was just in chat on another channel and it was horizontal. What really gets my channel views is me complaining straight out the gate, because everybody loves that. Ryan Swain, Owen is singing at a karaoke bar in big city. Is a good place to find bands. Actually, if you're looking for a singer, karaoke places are a good place to look. But if I wasn't already blessed with the voice of an angel and the face of an angel, and I had to look for a singer, I would definitely hit up churches, because churches have some of the best musicians, right? And they can be playing to like 100 people. It doesn't have to be like a mega church. And there's so many good singers. There's so many good bass players, musicians, guitarists. Churches are a bit of a untapped thing. And obviously you can do the Facebook marketplace looking for singer, Craigslist looking for singer, all the usual things. But really, you got to get out there. And the greatest bands of all time, The Who, you name it, they all have members like Keith Moon watched them play live, watched The Who, and said, I can do better than that drummer. And he said, he went up to the band afterwards and said, get rid of that loser. I'm your man. Bit of swagger, bit of balls. You know what I mean? When it comes to The Who, I'll only talk about Keith Moon and I will not talk about Pete Townsend. Even though Pete Townsend is the reason why I love Gibson style guitars. Do you not believe me that I like Gibson style guitars? So yeah, singing churches, man. You got to get because you don't have to go to all the churches. Church, Facebook, right? Facebook local, the Facebook local scene, right, can be absolutely hilarious. If you're looking for a lost dog, if you want to see say if there's a single housewife that has a kid and they're in the neighborhood and they're asking, hey, what's a good place to be XYZ? And then everyone starts arguing like over the best spots and this, that, and the other. People on Facebook love giving their opinions, right? So if you go on Facebook to locals on Facebook, there's also other apps that have locals specified, and say, ask the public who's the best singer in Port St. Lucie, wherever I am or whatever. And everyone's going to be going, ba, 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 ba. They'll give you names. They don't care, you know, people will, so you can just search them down, you know. BMC Guitar, hey, what's up, man? Welcome back. Ryan Swain, we are dark, we are brooding, and we are metal. We are dark and brooding. I know black metalists wish they could be that. You know, with black metal, here we go. I'm losing subs because of my anti-black metal thing. That I think that's the I don't think maybe, you know, I haven't uploaded like guitar-based videos for a while, so that might be part of it. People might not like the lives. That's fine. I'm just starting out. You know, I'm new to it. But with black metal, in my opinion, black metal is the K-pop of metal. Black metal is the K-pop. Why? They all sound similar. Blast beats, trem picking, and anguish screams, right? Plus a genre. So you're going to have black metal plus doom, or you're going to have black metal plus thrash, or you're going to have black metal plus rock, you know, black and roll or whatever, right? So that's the rules. So in same in K-pop, most of them sound the same, but they're all in these different divisions, right? So some are more poppy, some are romantic, some are EDM, and like that. But the only difference, because black metal is so fucking popular and their fans are massive stans, right? But the only difference between K-pop and black metal is black metal actually wear more makeup. So the two-tone clown face, black and white makeup kind of like outdoes the spray tans of K-pop. So that's what I think is going on. Let's have a look at multi-stream. Multi-stream is behind. So my stream has, on my phone, even though I have 1 gigabit of data, keeps freezing. Is it freezing on your end? I have like insanely fast internet here with massive bandwidth, so this shouldn't be sketchy. So in chat, can you tell me if it's stuttering my feed? That would be nice. So black metal is the K-pop of metal. If you don't know what K-pop is, it's South Korean pop music that is like very boy band, girl band focused, all by the numbers. They're all in their little cells, and they have no individuality, apart from, much like the Sex Pistols, where there's a tough one and there's a stinky one, and there's a cute one. You know what I mean? They all have that. So black metal bands usually have that too. Charles Wagner, how's it going, man? Ryan Swain, modern metal killed itself from the inside. They became boring and lame. Yeah, I was thinking about it today, how apologetic and, white knighty rock and metal became. We lost all the danger. There is no danger in rock and metal, especially in black metal, which is just, I hate to say the word basement incel fucking loner losers, right? I hate to say that because some of them are fucking cool guys, but there's not a lot of individual thought patterns when it comes to black metal, you know? Stephen O'Brien, freezing like a triggered black metal forest scene. Is it always the same with black metal videos? Armor, warriors, through a frozen ancient forest. Maybe some bitch in a cage. Very rarely, though, because that might be a bit sexy. It's boys only, remember? Always grim, always cold, always staring into the abyss. Fucking change the realm. They're all not like that. They recorded these on their nice PCs. They're not swinging swords around, fake swords in the forest. I always fantasize about black metal videos, right? So they always have, because they're fucking nerds, they always have like the best cameras, right? So they got the best cameras, the best lighting, makeup, which would take all day, right? Speaking of K-pop. And so they trudge to the forest. It has to be snowing, so they do it during the snow. And I always fantasize about them, always, right? Of them carrying their gear in full makeup, right? Carrying all their camera equipment, carrying all their armor and their swords, right? Carrying their hot coffee flasks and whatever, because they're going to freeze to death otherwise, all their comforts. And I always know, because there has to be a trail going to wherever they're going, and I always know, because it's usually in Norway or somewhere like that, there are hot Swedish snow bunnies in pink, like, ski suits, and going past them thinking, what the hell is that? And I bet you they all look down. They dare not stare hot girls in the face while they're walking towards their Dungeons and Dragons recreation video, all right? So that's the thing, because black metal is so formulaic, right? And it's so bereft of talent. In fact, it's a talent sponge. It takes all these teenagers that think that all the mythos and the dark and the brooding, because I mean, everyone's hormones are going when you're a teenager. They think that it's all real. They think that everybody in all these bands, most of them are just fucking dumb, you know, but they think they're all dark, brooding, existential, you know, just nihilistic and the rest of it. Were they nihilistic when they updated their Pro Tools to the latest one? Were they nihilistic when they paid $17 for the latest Heavy Metal 2 VST? You know? Oh, God. I don't know, man. What have we become? It's cosplay. Metal is cosplay. They cosplaying fucking new metal right now. That's won't die. I thought it was going to die soon, but it's getting a second life because Deftones and everything took off on TikTok. Speaking of K-pop, so it's like the old ways is what we need. Not going as far back as to swing a mace around your head, you know? But the old ways of recording with a real band, no black metal fucking tippy-tappy drum machines and blast beats and fucking D-drums and gravity beats and all these cheats. No inward screaming, you know? It's the old ways, man. You could tell bands back in the day just as soon as the singer opens his mouth. Now, with deathcore, metalcore, and even thrash is going one way. Even thrash metal vocalists used to be like, you'd have a Russ Anderson from Forbidden would sound nothing like Death Angel, singer. So even now, thrash singers are now all doing their best Exodus, fucking Bailoff era Exodus, with a few maybe Tom Araya screams in there. You know what I mean? And some Sepultura grunts. So it's like, even my love, thrash, has become one long vanilla sausage of sameness. I made the joke, if you search Circle of Tone and Grammys, I made a joke about how the Grammys were overly inclusive, where they'd have, just because the Grammys now have rules where you automatically have to, just to be considered, you have to have diversity and minority diversity. So in rock and metal, women have to be involved, or black people, or POCs, because they're reduced to you're a person of color. You know what I mean? Not your individual talent. You want to put you in that box, so you can tick a box, and then all of a sudden you can be in the Grammys. But so Power Trip got in there, right? One of the only all-male bands, but I made a joke saying that they actually identified as Sepultura, because they ripped off Sepultura songs, like down to the inflection of the vocals, down to the live video style for their music, you know what I mean? So it's like Inner Self, they ripped off Inner Self. So I just made a joke that they went beyond gender bending. They went beyond, just diversity, and they literally they identify as Sepultura. So I thought that was stunning and brave. And how far have we come where they are, Power Trip, one of the best bands, one of the best thrash bands. So how fucking low is that bar right now? They're all right, I guess, you know? Rest in peace and all that. Oh yeah, chat. I was just in deep thought, because there's only deep thoughts on this podcast. Hey, Avi Scotland, how's it going, man? Good to have you back. Ben Hurger. Hauer. Is it Hauer? I guess it is. Nerds! Let me see. I'm going to catch up with some comments. Damien Gillard, hey man, working fine here. Okay, thank you. Because my feed, even though I got blazing fast internet, my internet is really good for once. AT&T, I despise Comcast. I said AT&T, but it's a monopoly. They call it a duopoly because, you know, if it wasn't for AT&T, Comcast would be a monopoly, and monopolies are illegal in capitalism, right? People think capitalism is every man for himself. It's not. There are rules in capitalism. So just because AT&T exists, then, suddenly you're magically not a monopoly. Just like for every Walgreens, you need a CVS opposite. And then they can fix prices under the table because of lack of competition. So that vial of salt water will cost $7 when it was 5 cents to actually produce. You got nowhere else to go. You'll have to drive 5 miles to get to a dollar store. And then you get it in reduced amounts anyway. So yeah. By the way, speaking of, the first comment was about karaoke. Chat, what is your famous karaoke song that you belt out? For me, it's House of the Rising Sun. House of the Rising Sun. I can give that some welly. But beware. Some of these karaoke machines have different pitches, so they're not actually to the same, because it's like MIDI, cheesy karaoke, music. And sometimes it's not in the right key, and it's like up 2 notches. And then watch me turn purple trying to hit those notes. You swear I'm in Soundgarden or something trying to fucking hit the notes. With 1 foot on the station. Charles Wagner, black metal is for people that have just given up and haven't decided to unalive themselves yet. Hey, could there be anything more evocative when you are a teenager and you don't know about the origins of it and black metal pops up in your feed? Is there anything more that'll piss off your parents more than nihilistic, suicidal, chaotic, murderous, dark, hateful, cold, cult black metal? It's like, oh yeah. So I get it. I know why it's famous, because it's a cursed, it's like a cursed video. It gets more notoriety when people whisper about it online. So then everybody, it's like Aesop's fables. It all becomes, greater than the actual story. Charles Wagner still working on the Choctalica. 3 songs done, 3 to go. Yeah, check out Charles Wagner's channel. Go give him a sub. Stephen O'Brien, metal. Did I misspell metal in the title or something? Ryan Swain, Owen, I would bet any money AI will give an unfair advantage to rock and metal. It would replicate hip-hop artists indistinguishable. Rock and metal will have a massive live advantage if we be celebrities. Hey, AI is going to be interesting. It's really, love it or hate it. Earlier, I was complaining about the absolute travesty that is vocals in rock and metal, because you can't distinguish now between modern metal singers because they're all sound the same. Even in rock, like in like cock rock and everything, it's like they all try to do that cock rock over Americanized type of almost throwbacks from the 90s, that style of vocals. So it's like, but AI is like a Kemper, where you can there is something about AI vocals. It's almost like it's in the same place too, the upper mids. There's this like little artifact in the upper mids of the vocals of when the AI does recreate somebody's voice, right? But I would love to hear some Pete Steele new songs with AI. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. If Typo Negative did it with an AI singer, I'd be like, I'll fucking buy that. Obviously, be interested in live. But I don't care. I miss him so much. It's like, bring it on. Just chat. Can you make sure there's no girls in chat? Because there's no girls allowed in here. Hey, Satis Misled, how's it going, man? Charles Wagner. I was in Norway last week and the women are gorgeous. I came back to the US and really had to justify staying here. Oh, and there are visa fees now. Oh, shit. Having a US citizenship is worthless. I spent 6 years trying to get my, not citizenship, but my green card. 6 years it took me to get it. My immigration attorney died of old age during my processing. That's how long it took. 9/11 didn't help. Is there a is there a day that I haven't mentioned 9/11 on this on this podcast? Ryan Swain, I have fantasies about black metalers walking through the forest in an atomic wedgie while people yell nerd. They are nerds, most of them. It's like people like the average black metal bot. Most of them are one-man bands. And if you actually meet them, because I meet a lot of them, they can barely fucking talk. They're so insular. They don't mix with others. And then I'm being general, right? Because obviously everyone's a individual snowflake. You know what I mean? In the black pits, the Stygian depths of black metal. Because I think there's one level of hell that's frozen, right? Frozen Lake. But there's a thing with, I guess you become what you love sometimes. And if you love black metal that much, you're going to withdraw into yourself. And there's not much fun in it. You know what I mean? Why is everybody like this self-hate, this flagellation? It's like, it's not that healthy. But I do understand a little bit. I do understand, because some of the most intelligent people, most of them, are kind of nihilistic. So there's a lot of smart people. There's a reason why I said nerds, guitar nerds. A lot of guitar black metal nerds are really intelligent, but they're a bit divergent, a bit on the spectrum sometimes when it comes to actually living life normally, So if I was in the PMRC, I would try and ban black metal, just for their own sakes. Especially folk black metal. I'm so done with folk fucking black metal. Oh my god. Try and picking on a lute. Stick it up your ass. Another thing I love about black metal videos? Imagine how cold their fingers are doing 6 hours of takes, playing guitar in the forest. I bet they're fucking crying at the end of it. Actual, like, angst and pain. And like Norway is like one of the most richest countries in the world with the best like social like parachute for the disenfranchised and everything. But there are long winters, and long winters do bring a lot of depression. So I get it. It's just stop. Cascade Explorer, how's it going, dude? Good to see you back. Charles Wagner. I've got a friend that records all of his bands live, and his recordings sound so much better than the perfectionist, gridded garbage of the current era. It is a massive, massive stepping stone if you record the Bones of your track live, no metronome. You have no idea. There is a starving public out there. Rock and metal didn't go from being the biggest thing. I mean, look at Lollapalooza. Look at the size of Woodstock, the modern Woodstock. I saw like Nick Nocturnal do a video recently about how metal is bigger than ever. And he said, some of his reasoning were bands like Knocked Loose being on Coachella, right? We're talking one of the early bands on one of the smaller stages in Coachella, right? Woodstock was the Coachella of the time when it was all metal bands. Green Day, it was the Coachella. What is he talking about? He said new metal is more popular than ever. You had housewives singing "Rolling, Rolling, Rolling, Rolling." You had normies that knew what was going on with new metal. Not some fucking handful of TikTok kids getting into it and wearing the shirts. What fucking planet is he on? I know what planet he's on. He's on planet. I didn't live through that period, so I don't have an actual realization of what was going on at the time. I'm an old bastard. I was there. I was at all these concerts. I was at the big Ozfests when metal did rule the world. When Metallica did play in front of 1.5 million people in Russia. Pantera and Metallica played in front of 1.5 million people as a young band, right? Absolute mayhem. The size of some countries turned up to watch Metallica in one gig. and he's saying metal is bigger than ever. Fucking hell. I know where he is, Nick Nocturnal. I know where he is, all right? He's a guitar nerd, he's in a bubble, and he doesn't know it. He thinks the average person's feed when he wakes up and goes on Facebook, goes on Twitter, goes on this, he thinks the average feed is his. He, in his chat, he's got like metalcore this, all talking about metalcore, or this and that, and did you see this video by fucking Falling in Reverse, and blah, 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 and blah. All he sees is metal every day. He thinks the average guy his age is seeing that, when they're not. The average person are seeing the Miley Cyruses, they're seeing the Rodriguez chick and, you know, Drake. That's what they're seeing. You know, back in the day, it was like Guns N' Roses was that. You know, Guns N' Roses would have been in everybody's feed back in the day. You know what I mean? So Nick Nocturnal, he's in a bubble. I don't blame him. He's not lying. He's just seeing what's in his little fucking metal guitar bot land, because he's a guitarist on YouTube, which, like most of you guys in chat, are going to be similar to the Nick Nocturnal people. You all play guitar. You all know how to produce. You know, you're all intelligent. I said, you know, we're all nerds, all right? But I'm old enough to have been there during the biggest eras of rock and metal, during like Nirvana, at the absolutely melting vaginas left, right, up, down. And to think that metal is bigger than ever is fucking, it's just ignorant. That's all it is. It's not, ignorance isn't bad, you know, it's like, it's just he hasn't lived long enough to have known what it was like when his words were true. And I think Nick Nocturnal is about as good as it gets for a modern metal channel. So I love what he does. He's a fucking great bloke. He's obviously a cool guy. But if he just has to have a bit more perspective of what the real people are waking up to in their feeds. He's getting bombarded with nothing but Slipknot this, metal that, you know? I mean, this is how far metal is going. Is like Slip has died. Slipknot's kids are now getting into this. So I was watching Slipknot, watching from the side, watching their kids playing. And that's how fucking old they are. You know, they have like 20-year-old kids that are basically doing Slipknot, you know, because copycats, because modern metal, so you can't, they're good. They're actually good. Anyway, I've been ignoring chat. Let's go. Let's fucking go. BMC Guitar. Have you seen the Tosin Abasi, Patrici Devin interview that Rick Beato just released? I've seen clips of it, and I've seen like Abasi doing his usual two-handed hammer on techniques. And again, it's fucking sums up. It sums up what's wrong with rock and metal. Normies fucking hate it. It's not going to bring in new talent, all right? It's going to bring in a fucking army of actual clones. Do you know how many people play exactly like him now? It's fucking insane. But it is, I say it before, all right? Animals as Leaders is the shrapnel label of the old school. Shrapnel label never got big. Normies never even knew about it, right? But in the guitar community, it's big. So then we think that, you know, these are the future stars. But it's like, in fact, if anything, Animals as Leaders star is starting to wane a little bit when it comes to buzz, you know? Devin Townsend was in that? I didn't realize Devin Townsend was in it. One of the best gigs I ever saw was Devin Townsend unplugged with an acoustic in a room with about 20 of us in there. So I saw one of the most fucking intimate things you can imagine. He was in Nam, and I was right in front, and he was fucking glorious, absolutely talented. The Strapping Young Lad era was way better than his. He's one of the fathers. He's one of the fathers of modern metal, right? Where everybody started copying his setups and that type of thing. He was one of the big ones on on the forums back in the day. But he has been very vocal about how it's hard for him to make, like Periphery, make an actual living from his record sales. So we have him up in this pedestal, but he has to hawk gear, he has to have endorsements and all that type of thing to actually get by. So I think his way of producing, him a classic DIY guy, has held him back. Same thing happened with other guitar gods like Annihilator, one of the best fucking right hands in metal, right? Jeff from Annihilator insists on doing the same. Ingui does it. He insists on being the producer, and it waters down his talent. Same with Annihilator. Annihilator's self-produced shit is literally shit. It's fucking terrible. You know, I'm a big fan, but I'm just gonna say it. I'm not gonna lie. So anyway, so I didn't see the whole interview because I don't think I'm going to find out anything new or interesting. I don't know, because I am a guitar nerd. So it's like, I respect to Beato though. I actually, what a fucking talent his kid is with a perfect pitch. That shit is amazing. He is an amazing teacher. If you want to get into theory, and you're really passionate about theory, you can't get any better than him. You can't. I would buy his shit in a heartbeat. I actually don't care about theory. I can't read music or anything. I've never been interested. But I respect him, and I respect his grind. I was being a sub of his since before he blew up, like, because I am the internet's neckbeard. But it's been great seeing him blow up. I know he gets a lot of haters. But he is kind of like one of these producers, because he was a producer, that gives, you know, advice about recording, but he hasn't had a hit in fucking forever. So it's like he's pretty much sums up the modern rock and metal zeitgeist in one person, where he can't really get a hit, but he gets views because of all the fucking tech nerds are and the music nerds are interested in his channel. Him breaking down songs is fantastic. I hate YouTube because I love YouTube, the algorithm. I love you. YouTube is amazing. And it's so diverse. But he gets all of his stuff like pulled, right? So I feel bad for him because he puts in so much work into those songs, and then say Led Zeppelin not only demonetizes him, which is fine, but they also make his video just disappear. So all that work is gone for Led Zeppelin. So I think he is very good at breaking down the songs when it comes to listening to the drums alone, and then listening to how the bass sinks into it. And, you know, that era of recording needs to be talked about more than the actual bands themselves, in my opinion. I think that's more helpful. But it's why I got obsessed with Tone Recreations, because I really want to know about the minutiae of what makes a riff, a bass line, a drum line so Moorish. And the biggest one for me is drums, and it's the only thing that none of us can do. Who's the biggest metal bands right now? There's Gojira. His brother's a drummer. Absolute unit between the two of them. Nothing but them rehearsing together, playing over and over and over. And then that spills out into the recordings, you know? Mastodon. What a fucking drummer, you know? It just elevates the band. The drummers elevate it. And the way you capture the drums elevates it too. Because sometimes Mastodon have a few misses, you know, when it comes to the recordings. And it comes all down to the energy of the actual production. And the boys, Brent and Co., they know what sounds good in the studio because they use these bitches, JCM 800s. So, yeah. I've learned a lot over the years doing this channel. And I know now what not to do to waste my time when it comes to recording my own music. Because I know to get anybody's interest, I need a drummer that is better than me at playing guitar. I need to be lifted up by a drummer. And then you can't just have a good drummer. You have to have a good producer that is like, Chris Lodalgi or whatever, that knows how to mix them. People know how to capture them. It's so hard. I'm not surprised rock and metal are dead relatively to back in the day because of how monumentally hard it is to get a drummer, and to get not just the drummer, you need all that magic fucking fairy dust from the studio on top of it to get the energy. Queens of the Stone Age, fantastic drummer. It's just such a big thing. It's the guitars. The guitars shouldn't even be thought of when it comes to a rock and metal song anymore, because guitarists took over and look where we are today. People celebrating that on Coachella we can get on the fucking smallest stage at, fucking 11 a.m. Avi Scotland Flower. I identify as part of the original Black Circle. Oh my god. Speaking of nerds, it's like a Dungeons and Dragons fucking basement that they used to play dress up and pretend they were satanic. And the irony is, Varg was nothing to do with Satanism. It was to do with the church and everything culturally appropriating all of Europe. So, so it gets rid of all the pagan ways and all the old ways. So the old architecture and everything. Cascade Explorer. ION, do I have an opinion on High on Fire? Did they do anything original or just another post-thrash rehash? High on Fire are fantastic. Now, I always say that the originators are the ones that need to be praised. When it comes to the revival of doom and sludge metal, from Dope Smoker before High on Fire and everything to, Sleep, and then on to High on Fire. And speaking of High on Fire, I haven't got any of their albums. I've never been a big fan. I've seen them live. I actually missed them live. I went to see him, ironically, with Mastodon and Ghost. And Ghost blew... Not Ghost. That's Death Clock. Death Clock blew Mastodon off the stage. That's how fucking good Death Clock were live. I was like, what? But, yeah, High on Fire, I respect them. But, and here we go. Here come the copycats. What album did Matt Pike use on XYZ? He used a green amp. All of a sudden, green amps are fucking $6,000 to buy. Orange amps and, the old... So it's like, he started up so many, like, grimy, sludgy rock, high-speed rock, with a bit of thrash tinge. Started off so many of them that it became a sea of fucking baristas playing this music, you know what I mean? Yeah, I can't fault him. And he got sober recently, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'm not sure if they have brought out anything new recently, but I respect High on Fire. What do you think of the Cavalera brothers recording Morbid Vision's Bestial Devastation? I think that was... I've talked about this before, where Testament would re-record old albums and they would never hit the nail on the head. But I really liked it. I listened to it and I really liked it. It was really old school sounding, but with a bit more modern guitars, because all the black metal fucking barista hipsters in there that love that original album, it did kind of sound like too funky for thrash. It sounded a bit too... we couldn't really make much out on the guitars. So it was nice to hear the guitars, even though the guitars were kind of old school sounding, but compared to the early shit. And they drenched the vocals in that old school PA reverb, I liked it, man. Speaking of, what did I say? What makes a good metal and rock band? The drummers. How good is fucking Ego? How good is that, man? I am so proud that I drank vodka with those guys when they're at their peak. We talking like, what is it? Just after Buried Beneath the Remains, I met him. Holy shit. I think he was doing the Arise promotion. And I me as a teenager, hung out with those, and I think they were barely 20 themselves back then. So I saw Sepultura, peak the old lineup, peak Sepultura, in a bar with about 100 people in it. It was a secret gig, and they were called Third World Posse or something like that. So it was before they went on a big major tour with Megadeth. God, it was good. Holy shit, drums. Bass player was kicked ass too, because you couldn't really hear the bass player much on the old Sepultura, so it was nice to actually hear that, even though I was fucking shit-faced. So good questions, guys. Buckethead has 0 hits, yes or no? Yeah, Buckethead is again this fascination with masturbatory fucking noise generators, man. Buckethead. Who can name an actual song of his? There's not even guitar nerds struggle, you know? It's just like it is impressive when you see him do it, but no, I'm good. His shit on Guns N' Roses was terrible. It was so formulaic, you know? Ben Hauer, Mother Danzig, do the drums of Chuck Biscuits on that. You know, that didn't actually do anything when he first released it. It was only later on when they did a so-called live version of it, which is the same thing, but with crowd noise. It actually flopped the first time around. I think the Metallica tour they had I saw Danzig with Metallica on that first album, and I caught, I was at the bar for most of it. I missed it. And then I went on to discover Danzig. I already knew what Danzig was about, but the Danzig album, number 1, was the first CD I ever bought. Was the first Danzig album. What a good way to start off your collection, huh? And I had just bought a new sound system with a CD player on it, and it was a good one too. I think it was I can't remember the brand, but I invited my then girlfriend over, who was the hottest. He was so hot, dude. Gorgeous girlfriend. She's the only person that actually dumped me, and I was upset. Like, afterwards, I was like, oh no, you're one of the good ones, and for good reason. She was way out of my league. But I always remember like sliding that on, turning the lights down, listening to Danzig with her in my bedroom, and it was like fucking good times, brother. That's what it's all about, It's part of the life. Metal's just part of my lifestyle. I identify as a wild-eyed loner staring into the abyss. Abby Scotland Flower, just talking about karaoke with a couple of clients online. All right, so we're going to talk about everybody's karaoke classics. All right, so we got the Faustian Man. Welcome back, dude. Harder to Sing, Whiskey in a Jar, Metallica version, or Lemon by U2. How terrible is Metallica's Whiskey in the Jar? I'm going to say it. What a fucking abomination. Or Lemon by U2. I know, I think trying both of those might give me AIDS. Laverna, black metal is incel music. It is. I agree. Generally. I get it. I get why people are drawn to it, like a moth to the black flame, But the reason I make fun of it so much is because I know the origins of it with Hellhammer and everything. And I was, I've done videos on Tom G. Warrior, like a couple in the past. So I'm absolutely obsessed, right? But I just saw what it turned into. And the reverence that it gets when it was just, it died a normal, black metal died a natural death after like a year. I mean, Hellhammer didn't do much. You know, Venom were semi okay. You know, they did all right. You know, B League. You know, Bathory was super underground. I don't care what anyone says. Back in the day, there wasn't many people repping Bathory. So the first, if it was naturally, if the music alone, right, the music alone was, it died pretty quick, and it was the second wave, fucking Mayhem, right, Mayhem, and then but some that is the cursed. It's the story, man. The story that got everybody going, rubbing their nipples over how deliciously fucking crazy. Genuinely is a crazy story. You have Satanism. You have, even if they did have heavy Satanism, fucking, the Black Circle and all that shit, right? Even though Varg wasn't into it. You had church burning. You had suicide. You had murder. You had weird stuff going on with like gay murders. You had all these crazy stories coming from this one genre within a short period of time. And even then, right, when it was on the Kerrang album cover, right, with Varg on the cover, nobody gave a shit about it until the internet, until the story grew about how fucking crazy it was. That particular band, where eating brain and fragments of skull fragments on chains, and that is fucking crazy. So I get it, man. I get it why teenagers, why incels or whatever are drawn to that, because it was the darkest, craziest band that ever lived. You guys, there might be somebody else that's even more fucking murderous and more mayhem, but it's just the music. Hellhammer is better than Mayhem, right? When it comes to actually purging your soul of fucking dark shit. But the music, it didn't have legs on its own. The story plus the music is secondary in black metal. Always has been. Even good guitarists go out of their way to play chaotic and to play badly and to record badly to do black metal, and that is contrived. It's contrived. That's not true metal. That's not you. It's you fucking copy and pasting the anguish of Hellhammer, or it's crazy. But I get it. But I'm just going to be realistic about it. It's part of all this young teenage talent has been drawn into this black metal bubble, into the Black Circle, and they're all sounding like each other with their trem picking, their anguish screams, their fucking stupid videos in the forest, right? I am only sick of it because I've been waiting for something to change in the underground, right? But it just sucked everybody in. Black and thrash, black and roll, theremin, blackened metal. You have acoustic blackened metal. You have rap blackened metal. You have all these fucking genres in this mainstream. You have black metal makeup tutorials on fucking YouTube. It's mainstream as fuck. And contrived. People pretending. People only putting out cassette tapes. That's contrived. If you want people to listen to your music, you limit it. That's some barista hipster shit, man. Don't get me started on what killed the underground. I think it's a toss-up between modern metal production and black metal genre as a whole. It's a toss-up between what ruined the underground more. Was it Guitar Nerds? Was it the DAW Guitar Nerds with their VSTs and their fucking easy drummer? Copying each other, copying mic placements, copying a Vintage 30 on a Celestion Vintage 30 with an SM57 microphone, ad nauseum, destroy the scene, must sound like Andy Sneap. Kirilla's hard rocker. Being smart doesn't always make you successful. Yeah. I mean, being smart and sensible can be very fucking boring. Avi Scotland Flower. You could do AI vocals yourself, Owen. Just get good at the prompts. Yeah. The sad thing is, when it comes to type O negative, I can do a I can do the backing vocals good. When it comes to his lower register, it's just out of my comfort zone. Obviously, because he sounds like the fucking bottomless pit. A couple of dead trees. Deep Bombable. I am enjoying the Cavalera Conspiracy Morbid Visions re-record. Heavy Metal 2 type sound with the guitars feel fresh and fitting. Doesn't it? It's something about it, man. I was like, this makes me happy. This, especially since you can figure out the Gonzo riffs, because the riffs are fast as fuck. It's great, but old school fast, not this, alternative picking, cheating, hammer off, hammer on, where it's very economical playing. It sounds fast, but it's very economical. Charles Wagner, seriously though, cod jerky is an aphrodisiac. You've been eating whale dicks? Ryan Swain, I wonder if the Minecraft simp stands would explode their brains here in Owen's stance on 9/11 versus JS Shalat's stance. Charles Wagner, if I was in the PMRC, I would throw myself into traffic. Hey, you dare talk about my wife. If you go and look at my black metal, no, which one was it? I think it's my one with the Vag Dryer video with Guthrie Govan on my thumbnail, but it's about why women don't listen to modern rock and metal, and part of that had a snippet from the PMRC, and it was like the housewife. I think she was a politician's wife that was heading up the PMRC. I can't remember her name, but she was fucking hot. So I was like, I'll do anything for you, baby. Metal is satanic. It is causing children to hang themselves. Let me get inside your sugar walls. I mean, give me your flyers to hand out. Ryan Swain, Owen, I have a very debilitating fear level of horror. There's a trend called skibbity toilet, and that scared me. I love black metal. You should be scared. Abbey Scotland Flower. The amount of metal festivals these days is insane, though, and there's always a lot of public in them. In Europe, there's a lot. In Europe. But mostly, unless it's super specific, like symphonic metal, they actually get some big numbers up there. But again, most of them are music that normies will think is cheesy as fuck. And all the big festivals, they're all being propped up by the old school. They're all being propped up by the old school. The new school, they can fill a theater, some of them, maybe. But there's no stadium gigs for stadium or massive open air festivals for new metal bands, new rock and metal. I'm not saying rock and metal never existed, but you're right. It's started to come back. In America, it's super expensive to do anything because Ticketmaster and Clear Channel Networks and who is it? iHeartMedia. They have a massive monopoly in the US, so they've made sure that it's financially impossible to tour, financially impossible to jump through all the red tape of trying to put your own festival together, right? So there's not many in a lot of them, like Ozfest and Slipknot and Knotfest. They would have one big one in California, and they wouldn't travel. So we still the old school. Who is it that said they're going to replace Metallica? Cut my life into pieces. Who's that? What the fuck is that band? I'm drawing a blank on that band, but why don't I know? They're huge. So they said that they are going to replace Metallica on these big festivals because Metallica are aging out. And I'll just leave that. I don't have to explain anything. Moving on. Charles Wagner, peak Metallica is unstoppable. Yeah, man. Really, really inspiring. Metallica were gods, man. In the studio, live, they kind of didn't sound that good live. Let's face it. Especially our boy, Kirk Hammett. Charles Wagner, Nick Nocturnal looks like he doesn't sleep and stays indoors all day. He's like, guitar nerd. Lives online, records on a computer, It's just, he's one of us. One of us. Charles Wagner, my daughter loves him though. He's a great personality. Yeah, I'm actually glad that his channel is taken off because he's a very good influence on modern rock and metal when it comes to people that pretend to like it, Charles Wagner, he'll never know how good we had it. Yeah, he's just about maybe a decade off, of being around the madness of new metal and grunge and all that stuff. I'm back in comments, huh? Let's go through comments. It's time to go. I said that last time and then I went on a tangent after one comment. Let's go. Damien Gillard. Agree 100%. Guys like him are stuck in a bubble, follow trends and try to push bands to make them bigger and more interesting than they actually are. Sleep Token, Knocked Loose, that kind of stuff. Sleep Token, dude, it's so fucking formulaic. It's like, what's the big fucking deal? Modern metal on rails. It's like, it's modern metal on ice is what that shit is. It's fucking Imagine Dragons core is what that is. I'm going through comments, I'm not going to rant. Ryan Swain. Am I the only person here that doesn't get metal in my feed? I get TikTok trends and massive roasts in mine. It depends if your feed is... Everybody's feed is usually geared to what you like. So you don't like modern metal. So it's not in your feed. Damien Gillard. Can't stand modern metal bands. Bland and boring. Production sucks too. Isn't it crazy? Like, on paper, production is better than ever because you can hear everything. Everything's clear. There's no noise flow. Everything is fucking perfect in time. Everything is perfectly in tune. And metal and rock fans are like, what is this? Is this Imagine Dragons core? You know what I mean? That is what it is. It is fucking lame, BMC Guitar, the Tosin Tappy Tappy, ad nauseum. I actually did a modern metal drinking game years ago, and all the points I made are still massive in progressive metal. One of them was a reference to him where you got to take a shot if your entire song is one long tapping solo. It's like, ooh, another one. So progressive. Abby Scott and Flower. YouTube channel famous is not the same as 80s Rockstar famous. Yep. Even though some YouTuber creators seem to think so. Yeah. You can. I feel bad for some of the big guys in the YouTube space, like Jared Dines or people like that. You can see that he is not doing good. It's like sometimes when you make it on YouTube, careful what you ask for, because all he gets is just negativity in his feed because people are jealous of his success. I feel bad for him because he started off in his lane in the modern metalcore, pig squeal vocal loving stuff, and he hasn't changed. So he's being his authentic self. He went from fucking sucking shit out of porta parties to being funny on YouTube with modern metal, taking the piss out of it. And the stuff that he took the piss out of back in the day has come back around and is in vogue now. It got so long in the teeth that teenagers like Jared Dines made fun of it. All right? And now it's come back in vogue because something goes viral on TikTok. Because Lorna Shaw, there was do a few pig squeals. Like, that's fucking new and original. And now, I said it before, we have to brace ourselves for another 3 fucking years of YouTube pig squeal tutorials that were a meme and turned off the general public from rock and metal in the first place. Now we just gotta fucking wait until the wheels keep spinning and spinning and spinning. Copycat fucking metal nerd bots are gonna ruin it all again. Ay, ay, ay. I'm going through comments fast. I'm not ranting. No girls allowed in chat, by the way. Gorillaz Hard Rocker. Nick Nocturnal can't play guitar. I thought he could. Watching him play on live streams was cringe-inducing. Same with live performances of Davey 504. His bass performance falls apart without the magic of editing. I don't know, man. I don't know about that. I think they can both play, especially Davey. So no hate. I think technicality is the last thing we need to worry about when it comes to rock and metal, because I'm so fucking sick of seeing you guys in the chat. Most of you are better than the average fucking modern metal band that are on all these labels. You know, most of you are better. I know it because I listen to your music. I creep a lot of you, and it's like there's so much talent, like actual dexterity type of talent, not blowing us away with your original songs and voices and textures, and you know, it's like I'm the same. You know, I'm a victim. I'm a victim of the fucking Andy Sneap forums myself. On to the next one. BMC Guitar. They discussed that topic of people learning guitar and how it differs from how we learned. Yeah, the bar is high because when you do listen to, you know, Polyphia and stuff like that, the bar is high. So when people do learn, they tend to learn pretty quick these days because there's so much. It's so easy to get tab. It's so easy to. There's loads of guitar tutorials. So skillage in the village is the last thing we need to worry about. It's just it's the writing, and it's the capturing of emotion that the public don't like. You know, I see so many guitarists sounding exactly like Polyphia, and they are just getting no fucking traction. On to the next one. Let's go. Ryan Swain. Here, 90% of my feed is masculinity content. TikTok trends, celebrity news, comedy, YouTube creator, best moments. But that's a lot of mine too. It's like a lot of fucking weightlifting injury videos pop up in my feed because I'm always fucking myself up. BMC Guitar. It's worth watching though. Yeah, maybe I'll give it another watch. The Zeke 1970. Hey, how's it going, dude? How's the back, mate? Speaking of injuries, my back is fine. I've got a little tweak in this area right now, but I still bench press on a machine. No, I can't bench press with free weights because I've got so many injuries. I bench pressed 250 pounds 10 times before I switched this fucking microphone on. So I did like 3 sets of that. So I'm back now. I can still, with this injury, I can still do that. So that's good. I can still walk. My back is better. I fucked my back up. The worst I've ever had it. I've been hit by cars. I've had my skull fractured. I have had failed back surgery. Nothing compared to the when I put my back out. Nothing compared to that pain. It was a special one where I was trapped in a car. I couldn't move. I was alone in the car. Like literally when it happened, and I was doing weights when I shouldn't have, is what made it even worse. We got Poopy Donkey Robot. Prepare yourself, chat, for some random grandpa swapping things that have nothing to do with the title, nothing to do with guitar. Prepare yourself. He's here. Poopy Donkey in the house, big boys. Let's see Poopy Donkey's first chat. I'm celebrating. I thought I had crabs. Turns out just to be pubic dandruff. You would know if you had crabs. I don't know why. What? Next question. Krillus Hard Rocker. The most modern band I brought an album of recently was Norwegian Oh, it's Shining with the Black Jazz. Black Jazz, that's a fucking good one, dude. My favorite Shining, is it Shining or Shining? I know there's two Shining metal bands. That Black Jazz, they did a live TV show of Fisheye, the song Fisheye. Holy shit, it's good. Everybody, fuck my channel. Go to YouTube, search Shining Fisheye, and then look for the one with the TV audience. It is so good. I know I hate black metal, and they are blackened. It's a blackened jazz fusion, fucking crazy. But that's one of the best live performances from that genre, which is a avant-garde genre. It is so good. Good shout, man. That is probably one of the last modern metal albums that are worth a shit. But even then, they didn't capture the actual album as well as that live show. I waxed lyrically earlier about how much a drummer brings, and their drummer is this massive fucking dude with a massive drum kit, and he's playing so fucking good. You know, heavy, but fucking some swing, some drag, and it's so good. Shining Fisheye, fucking porn. Next one, because we're going. Congrats on the crabs, Poopy. Charles Wagner, it's all about the drums and bass. I agree. If you listen to, say, Black Sabbath, early Black Sabbath, you can isolate tracks, right? Listen to how anemic the guitars are. It's the whole package, man. It's the whole package that bring it, especially Giza. So you're right. It's fucking guitar nerds. Everything is so fucking guitar focused, especially when we add 9 strings in, so the bass guitar is fucking almost redundant because guitars sound like beat synths. And even when they do bass, it's got massive, annoying fucking DSP distortion all over the top of it to make it sound wider. And, you know the score. Anyway, we're moving on. We're going through chat. Go. Abby Scotland Flower. Owen, you think all the drum loops today by Toontrack are worthless then? Their library is quite massive at this point. No, I think Toontrack's software is fucking spectacular. Absolute top notch. I think Yurt Rock is another one that have actual drum loops though. Yurt Rock, some of the jazz stuff they have is fantastic, but Toontrack, hat off, fucking phenomenal. I can't fault it. I don't hate the tools. I hate the use of the tools. And in my opinion, the anti-sneap, ironically, the anti-sneap one is the best. But what I do, I wait for the sales. There's not as many sales as there used to be. There used to be sales where you could pick up drum packs for like $20. In November, they usually pop up too. So every time there's a sale, every time a drum set is... I haven't done it recently because you've seen an old video of mine. I stopped buying VST, so I have. But I used to buy all the sales, and I mix and match. So I have about 15 different drum packs from Toontrack, and usually the bass drums, the snares, and the cymbals within the Sneap pack come up the most often. I mean, Andy Sneap knows his fucking shit. Don't hate the players, hate the copycats. Because Andy Sneap has done a lot of damage to modern rock and metal. Nothing to do, no fault of his own. It's all fault of the copycats that copies the Andy Sneap methods. Yeah, Toontrack. Hey, can you throw me some free shit, please? I never ask companies for free shit. They're gonna send me some free shit when I have videos called "Why I Stopped Buying VST Software." That video is still valid, by the way. In my opinion, my VST points. I said like the top 10 reasons of why I stopped buying VSTs. Nathan M. I bet metal isn't ruined for young people, but it feels ruined for older people like me, 49. Everyone gets their open window of time. Does a 16-year-old today prefer 90s metal? I assume not. Statistically, they prefer the old shit. Like Deftones has got massive. Like Metallica, Master of Puppets was a huge thing because of Stranger Things. And all of a sudden, you see all these metalheads popping up on the scene, young 15-year-olds dressing like the character on Stranger Things. So there's a lot of young people are getting into, on the extreme end of it, they're masturbating over the story of Mayhem, and on the other side of it, they're finding out about Nirvana, they're finding out about even Foo Fighters, things like that. So a lot of the young people are into the old stuff, and statistically on Spotify and everything, most of the rock and metal people that are listening to the genre are listening to the old shit. So it's a massive demographic. But the young people, when it comes to black metal impacted me when it first came out. I was like, holy shit, this is so fucking dark and amazing. But my problem is, versus the young people, is they haven't heard anguish screaming, trem picking, and blast beats for 35 years like I have. So I am so fucking sick of it. It has ruined the underground. It has ruined the dynamics of the underground of rock and metal. Ruined it because it's in this fucking black metal box now. So I get it. I get why people flock to black metal. I get it why people are obsessed with new metal. There's some fucking banging tunes, in new metal. I think, in my opinion, Orgy were the best new metal band, even though they're kind of hard to pigeonhole. But yeah. On to the next one. Krilla's Hard Rocker. Bass is harder than guitar. You need to attack the strings. Recording bass. You'd be surprised at people that on the surface that can play bass really well. They don't know the limitations of recording bass. You know how many times I've been there with a bass player that all you can hear is the pick and the string hitting things like pickups. So you hear pop, 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 pop from the fucking metal hitting the pickup and giving you that pop. You know how many people don't know where to put their hands to pick to make notes pop out? Do you know how many people don't know how to fret within a groove and hit attack at the same time? People can be fucking all over the place, right? Absolute skillage in the village, but put them down in front of a fucking... Some people are just sound fucking retarded. It's like they've never played when they're isolated. So bass, recording bass is an art in itself, not just learning how to play the bass. Charles Wagner, rehash is such a bitter, envious word when it's used in conjunction with the genre. Charles Wagner, good music is good music. Bands don't own a genre. Abby Scotland Flower, I like how Varg recorded his vocals with a $2 PC desk microphone, lol. And then other bands started doing it. They selected the shittiest microphone that they could find and then got in a corner and anguishly screamed into it, Copycats did that too. Yeah, I think it's a headphone mic, right? Rab G, I like Mad Pike, but I wish the dude would wear a shirt. No, man. No. He had the classic alcoholic's body, right? Absolute fucking tit fest and fucking guts hanging out. I love that swagger. I fucking love it. Shirts off, fucking rock, pedal to the metal. Yeah, Matt Pike, be ugly forever. Close up of his fucking cracky teeth. I love it. Charles Wagner, I remember having to choose between the social girl and the eugenic girl, and I chose the eugenic girl. Worked out so far, 20 years in. Eugenics? Did you spell that wrong? She's into eugenics. So she is into black metal. Charles Wagner, looks fade, but loyalty doesn't. Speak for yourself, mate. I'm 51. Ryan Swain. Oh wait, us metalheads should have a lo-fi metal day. It would be this. It would be the day the first Black Sabbath album came out, and we talked to the memories of metal. That's not a bad idea, dude. Nathan M. Guitar Gods are fun to watch perform, but a challenge to listen to as audio only. A big thing with people like Buckethead, with it's like their sound is usually like a pod or something very easy to travel with, you know, Kemper, and it can sound like nails on a chalkboard. So it's like, ugh. It's so Guitar Gods usually it's like the worst marriage of modern metal production and the worst marriage of ignoring song structure and like iconic fucking anthems you can wave your beer to. It's like I'm gonna stop saying like, okay. Rumi, thanks for the $5, man. Megadeth were alphas. Polyphia are betas. Sex and Danger versus vegan incels. Chris Poland delivered killer guitar riffs. Garth on drums, no grid, no problem. Dude, that Megadeth, if they... I sometimes fantasize about Dave Mustaine getting back on crack. Or was it heroin was his jam, right? Because they were danger. They were... I said it before. There are not enough assholes in rock and metal. Dave Mustaine is a fucking dickhead. And I love it. He is so fucking out of his mind back in the day. You know the No More Mr. Nice Guy that he did, the cover version? He literally had to be propped up with a broom. If you rewatch that again, he is so fucking high in that music video that he could barely stand. They said they had such a nightmare with that recording. And at the same time, he was on what was it? The Civilization, End of Civilization, the 2, you know, the metal years. And he was on that, wagging his finger about drugs and all that type of shit when he was the biggest druggie of them all, you know? So what? Fucking liar. I love it. And now they're going to go even more vanilla sausagey. Talk about Guitar Gods having terrible fucking tone. Megadeth, the lead guitarists over the years have been sounded like a fucking vanilla sausage to the max. No, everything sounds fucking good, but it's so fucking forgettable and safe and subtle, and it's like there's no danger, there's no swagger, there's no fucking razor guitars in your face. You know what I mean? Chris Poland, man, better than Marty in my opinion. Oh. And I'll prove you. I'll. How about you do this? There's a video up with Marty Friedman's isolated solos and Chris Poland's isolated solos. Go listen to it. It puts one next to the other, and you'll think, holy shit, Chris Poland's technically not as fucking godlike, but stylistically, you know. But Marty, to be fair, almost killed himself on Rust in Peace. Absolute god of an album. I saw him live, and he didn't really pull it off. He didn't pull it off as good as the album live. And I was there peak that era. And Menza on drums, still to this day, is the best drummer I've ever seen live. On the same stage as Pantera, you know. Abbott is no slouch on the drums, but he fucking blew him away. Nick Menza, rest in peace. Thanks for the 5, bro. Alright, I'm really behind in comments. I'm very sorry, chaps. But if you want me to read your comment, I'll read all super chats because I am a whore. I'll go backwards. This time, I promise, speed round to get through your comments. Damien Gilliard. Isn't it possible to disregard all the folklore and stories around black metal and enjoy the music? Yeah. My big thing with it is I'm so long in the tooth of it, so it is like nails on a chalkboard when I hear the tropes. The trem picking, the blast beat, the anguish screams, which are in 99% of every fucking song that black metal has. So I'm just sick of it, right? But it's the damage to the scene, and that's why I go at it. I understand how black metal can be good headphones music when you just drift off when you listen to the anguished screaming, you know. But for me, it's just for somebody who's been into Hellhammer since way back in the day. It's like I can't take it anymore. I can't take the metal underground another fucking 35 years of it. So yes, if you're getting into black metal, I can see why it's dominating the underground and most of the mainstream as well. But yeah, I get it. Charles Wagner, Huntress was more black metal than most modern black metal. Abath is great though. Abath is he is the god of black metal in my opinion. Just what an absolute savage. Charles Wagner also R.I.P. Jill Jonas. Mika Rutland, music isn't about skill level, it's about emotion, creativity. I personally hate music theory. I don't want to map out my creative playing. Yeah, me too. I agree. You did let me know how to read music? No. Krillis Hard Rocker, rock and roll is about doing simple music and making it good and fun. Yeah, I can't. Rock and roll is, yeah, the more simple, like the biggest songs in history of rock and roll have been the AC/DCs, have been simple stompers, you know. A lot of attitude gets lost, man, in this modern metal. I'm thinking of doing a video on why campers and things like that didn't save metal when you can literally get these within 5% of these. So why hasn't rock and metal taken off when, you know, hundreds of thousands of people have access to VSTs which sound 5% within 5% of that? So why hasn't it taken off? And I think I know why. Most camper styles, things like that, they rely on modern metal production techniques. You're hearing the close micing. Yeah, you can move mics around, and you know, when you get the actual sample, you're usually close micing. Straight off the bat, you're doing something that the public hate. The public hate the upper mids from close micing. They fucking hate it. The general public hate it. It grates on you. It grinds on you. And add to that some DSP distortion, which is tingling around almost subliminally in the top upper mids of a camper profile. So you're doubling down on what people don't want to hear. So yes, it sounds like a close mic'd amplifier. But the close mic'd amplifier is the fucking big problem. So it's like it perfectly. If you want the big problem which turned off people from modern rock and metal, get yourself a camper. Because people will hate it just as much as they hate 99% of everybody else's shit out there. But I want to do a more in-depth video about why I think that. So I'm going to get when I listen to ABs, I am going to get the Ampex. I'm going to get it for simple streams so I can just play and plug. Because I've tried it in here and it's to actually have the mic and the what I love is this thing blasting. Now I can't sit here with this thing blasting me in the back. I don't have facility to have a studio to do that. And even then, I want the amp to be in the room with me because it affects the way you play. I can just turn around and get some fucking sustain and get it to sing. You can't do that with a VST. So I'm just gonna for when I play guitar on live stream, I'm just going to use the Amp X, and it is the closest. It's closer than a Kemper, and it's closer only a little bit, and it's closer. It's a little bit better than the Quad Cortex that I've seen from ABs through the people that I respect that are in that lifestyle. You know what I mean? So I wish I could. I think I'll be here for another like 8 months, and the next place I'm moving into will have a dedicated place where I can do that, where I can switch live and have an amp blasting me, and it's going to be a better setup than what I've got now. Because I want to practice what I preach. Remember that time back in the day where I said I'm going to catch up with comments? Remember? More lies. Oh, fucking jibber jabbering. Oh, I tell you what. Oh, I'm going to stretch. My back's still hurting a bit. How's it going? Don't get old. Oh, fuck me. I won't do what you tell me. All right, stretch break. Do you know what's a good stretch? For arms, to stop from fucking out. Hold your arm up like that. And then push down on your hand. And I tell you what, I have not had my issues. I do this before all the workouts. And I have not had issues with, I had fucking severe tennis elbow. You can see the swelling on one side versus the other. This one's much bigger than this one. That's fucking how fucked up this arm is, because all my tendons are fucked. So since I've been doing that before workouts, been golden for the arms. Anyway, stretchy. To the comments. That's it, yeah. Faustian man, tip a go. That's right. Argo's wife. Oh, dude. She was such a fucking MILF. I think if it's the one I'm thinking of, who it is, if you check out my Why Did Women Abandon Modern Rock and Metal, she's talking in this. And she has that 80s hair, 80s housewife hair. It's like the equivalent of the Karen from back in the day. Faustian man, Papa Roach. Holy shit, I'm back in comments, huh? I am so sorry. All right, speed. Let's see if I can actually catch up, right? Focus. Believe, achieve. As Bisbing said. Ryan Swain. Daddy Roach sang about cutting life into pieces. Yep. Mother Scarab. If roaches had a band, it would be a cockroach. Nathan M. I blinked, and next thing I know, Guthrie Govan's hair turned 100% white. Yeah, I think it was the vaccine did it. Abby Scotland Flower. Owen, why do you think metal YouTubers are also much less physically imposing than your average metal musician from the 80s? Is it fluoride in the water or what? Go look at old live pictures of Exodus. They are like wiry fucking, the guitarists. Their arms are bulging because what they do when they play in like 2 gigs a week, 3 gigs a week, high sweating on stage, fucking manic riffs. You know what I mean? None of this economic riffing, actual fucking speed, power, intensity. The rock metal lifestyle was pretty fucking hard on the body. How good did Hetfield used to look back in the day? You know what I mean? It takes to sing and to play and to perform metal. It takes it fucking out of you, carrying amps around. You know what I mean? The lifestyle itself was a fucking workout. So that is the big thing. Now, we got all these vanilla sausages wasting away, getting fucking carpal tunnel. On to the next comment. I'm going to go faster. I see Satan fall like lightning. Hey, Owen, just wanted to stop by and say hi. Love the channel. Thank you. Thank you, Satan. BMC guitar. Just like Agent Smith said in the first Matrix, Did you know that the first Matrix was designed to be a perfect human world? Perfect metal production sucks. That's right. When everything is perfect, we just don't fucking trust it. We just hate it. We have to fucking ruin it for ourselves. The Faustian Man. Remember when Metallica covered Prince's Dove's Cry and it transcended into a bad performance and went into a performance art? And people stopped judging the music and started questioning their existence. Oh my God. Dude, Prince, rock and roll. What a fucking guitar player. Did you know, Internet, Purple Rain is a live recording with very minimal like backing vocals and things like that added afterwards. Most of it is fucking live. What the fuck? Talented. Ryan Swain, oh god, the ACL tear workout videos made me squeamish. Dude. Oh, dude, I can't watch injury videos when it comes to weightlifting. We see the knees buckle and all that type of shit. It's like I'm not a squeamish person. I'm a fucking horror super fan. But I just know it's not the pain, it's not the injury, it's all the time you lose. Like, I have been working out 4 or 5 times a week for years just to get a fucking dad bod. Do you know how hard it is to get a good body working out? It's fucking impossible. And some people get in such good shape, they lift in fucking, 500 kilos and then something snaps and goes pop. It's such a fucking downer for me mentally because I know all the hard work it takes to get there. And within 1 second, one bad rep, and it's all fucking gone. You're out for 6 months, and it's just, it's heartbreaking, man. On to the comments. We're doing it. We're doing this fucking shit, bro. Rabg, considering how computerized most modern metal production is, I'm surprised Casio hasn't made a metal version of the Casio Tone audio accompaniment keyboard that features every metal cliche. Yeah, dude. How good are presets? That's heavy sarcasm. Presets on things like pods and, back in the day in the Zoom. Oh my God, the presets. Fucking the pocket protectors brigade that would design these multi-effects and that type of thing. The on-board, like, fucking banks that were programmed into these were god awful. There was no way musicians were involved with selecting these things. Morgan, Meshuggah got some of the best times ever using cheap modeling. Yeah, Meshuggah, remember what I said with the golden rule? Drummers. If you learn one thing from this podcast, drums are key, man. Meshuggah, all about them drums. Human, I still use SD 2.0 plus Metal Foundry. Oh shit, dude. You're a hipster now. You're using the old shit. Charles Wagner, Tune Track is elite. Superior drummer, Darkness Pack is insane. I haven't tried the Darkness Pack. I am behind in comments, huh? Holy shit, let's go. BMC Guitar. For writing, my band uses the free version of Stephen Slate's kit and trigger it using the sounding E-drums. Sound pretty good. I actually used Stephen Slate drums on an album I did about 12 years ago. Doesn't sound too bad. I think Stephen Slate fucked himself up, really fucked his company with the monitor mixer that he brought out. I think that took him back, like, financially. It fucking tanked. Human, I like the old Ludwig and Tama kits in Metal Foundry. They don't sound like modern metal. The Dude, I don't have to break it all down. I just don't want to hear it or buy it in today's music, and there's a reason why. Dude, the public don't even know. They don't understand why they hate modern rock and metal. They don't understand it. They just know that when they hear it, it's nails on a chalkboard. Modern metal production, mids, guitar, perfect drums that sound like suspicious. They don't understand why they hate it. They just like, this isn't true. They know, they get it. Rab G, FM synths are epic for bass. FM synths. Go listen to my Nights in White Satin, Moody Blues video I did, which is a good video, got very few views. It's one of my good ones. There's only a handful that I like. I used the FM synth for the bass on that. It just sounded great. It's like human. Oop. Oh, they're agreeing regarding the FM bass. We got Eggsy agreed. FM bass could sound amazing if used properly. Rabji, so far so good. So what? Is underrated and never talked about for some reason. I agree. The darkness of that album. There is a vibe. There is a vibe to that album which I love. The solos are a bit mashed up a little bit like chaotic, but I like that, man. It's a fucking angry dark album, and it's true fucking anger too. It's not like just artificial I'm young and angry type of shit. Charles Wagner, when everything is big, nothing is big. Oh, that's one of my slogans. Because when everything is produced to sound massive, then everything is the same. So nothing is massive. Charles Wagner, Nick Menza has soul and groove. Amen. And a heavy hitter. Just speaking of why did metal bands look different back in the day, he wasn't using triggers back in the day. You know what I mean? He was using power. You could see him. He was like fucking Adonis. He had a great body from the road, you know? You usually say no homo, but I think actual literal homo. The Faustio man, thanks for the $10, man. I appreciate it. I need a little bit of money in this channel to because it's like actually costing more to run it than it is that I'm getting. So put my fucking begging hat out there. You know what people don't get? How big Nine Inch Nails was. I'm going to Cleveland and I'm doing a mini documentary on Nine Inch Nails. Trent had a gold record for a R&B group as an engineer before Nine Inch Nails. Yeah, he started off in a New Romantic scene. He was big in that. And New Romantic is a massive, like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a bit of a pathway. I can't remember the word. It's a pathway to industrial. A lot of that really did, apart from obvious things like Killing Joke, but New Romantics would be I wouldn't mind trying to do some tone recreations of the New Romantics. Thanks, Faustio, man. But Nine Inch Nails, you probably know that I've done a Nine Inch Nails video, so you might want to watch that. I got some juicy info on the what I think makes them tick. One of my worst tone recreations because he used a wave shaper, old software. What's the word? What was it called? Cosmic, something to do with, I can't remember. But he used this early version of what went on to be VST software. He used it to destroy the guitar tracks, to make them unrecognizable. What it would do, it was early DSP distortion, and it was a filter, so it would retain the note of what's being played, but it would add DSP distortion and certain notch filters of EQ on top of it, and it would turn it into these jagged, fucking oily, cybernistic, like beautiful, what absolute impossible thing to be able to recreate. And that is why he's great. His own sound. He even said, good luck trying to get my guitar sound live, bitch. You know? Nine Inch Nails. Yeah, check out just search Circle of Tone and Nine Inch Nails and I'll pop up. Sometimes I don't pop up though, because YouTube do not like people that mention 9/11. All right, we're running. Rabji. Now, Lemmy was incredibly well read, apparently. Read music theory. I don't think he was well read in music theory. I might be wrong. Oh, he's responding to Jeff Young. Never mind. Speaking of Jeff Young, you're not the Jeff Young, are you? Jeff Young, I like both Poland's and Friedman's bending and vibrato. It's different. Yeah, especially Poland. His vibrato, his bends are so alien. I got the honor to see him in Nam and sit next to him and listen to him just riff and play. And it is so alien. His style is so original. Remember that word, original? The Zeke 1970. Hey Zeke, how's it going, man? Mensa drums only playthrough are beast mode. They're so good. And there's going to be new music coming out from Mensa. His estate, I think they have old songs he was working on, old drum tracks he was working on, and some other people are going to fill in the drum, the bass, the guitars, and that type of thing. I'm not sure if it's out yet. I'll have to check. But a friend of mine is doing the guitars, which is fucking great. I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to be talking about that. But I am the fucking metal neckbeard. Abby's Cotton Flower. I remember seeing Danny Filth live with a tight green silky shirt. Oops. The chat just moved. Oh, so somebody actually is starting to comment. That's great. Boop-a-doo. I'm not going to catch up with comments, my. Which is good, I guess. We've got 30 sausages in the chat. I have like 40,000 subs. So it doesn't really, the math ain't mathing. Let's just go through. I'll pick some random ones. Oh, I'm caught up. I'm not caught up. Bob Paqueta. Hey, man. Black metal was cool back in the early 90s, but I grew tired of it quickly. Yeah, it's pretty two-dimensional, you know. I'd say one-dimensional, but it's two-dimensional. It's black and white. Has to be black metal tropes with something bolted onto it. Two-dimensional. Mar 12. Owen, do you think it's still worth using a tube amp for a live gig? Yes. I think it's essential. A loud one too. Because the average gig now is going to be, it's not going to be, you know, in a stadium. So you're going to get the magic, the bleed, everything good about rock and metal. You're going to have it with a loud amp on stage. You do have the usual sound guys that will piss and moan, but you're just going to have to say, hey man, here's $40. I'm so sorry, but I'm going to fucking deafen this audience. And he'll go, thank you for the money. And he'll grovel and he'll walk away and make it sound good. You just got to tip him. You just got to say, you put your hand on their shoulder and say, hey, I'm going to give you fucking Uric. Krilla's Hard Rocker. Danny Filth is a heavy metal hamster with such juicy cheeks. He does have big old cheeks that you can grab. I like Danny Filth, man. He is metal. What has he done for gothic metal, man? It's been fucking perfect. He's been a great standard bearer for that whole scene. Mar 12. Owen, do you think... Oh, sorry, just read that one. The dude. Technique and politics and whether or not who runs the industry and all the other hogwash aside, just make some good fucking metal. I need a drummer. Jeff Young. You said Lemmy didn't know how to read music. I'm not sure Lemmy knew how to read, period. R.I.P. Eggsy. Elvis and Michael Jackson are much cooler than most modern day metal artists, and I really mean that. Dude, you know, I say the world doesn't have enough bastards. Elvis was a complete fucking tool, you know? He had a fair ish about like tween's feet. He was a bit of a pedo, but holy shit, rock and roll, you know? It was a different time, man. It kind of was, right? Because look at the luminaries of rock. Like a lot of them were like marrying their 12-year-old cousins and all sorts of fucking weird shit. But Michael Jackson, another sketch guy, a brilliant artist. If you want to have a good laugh, look at the Christmas song "We Are the World." There's some lost footage of him just raging at how shit everybody else is and like messing up. They're not messing up their parts. Sound fine, but they're not like perfection. Like he demands perfection. And look at what Michael Jackson was searching out back in the day. Eddie Van Halen. That is how you know you're a guitar god. When the biggest artist in the whole fucking world is searching for the cool new thing, and Eddie Van Halen was one of those cool new things. Atherny, modern metal is created by people who didn't live the lifestyle, as geezers did from the 80s. Yeah. I mean, metal is a lot about attitude. It's a lot about attitude. And I feel bad for these. I mean, musicians are being priced out of playing live. Bar owners are being priced out of hosting live acts. And it's not to protect the public. It's done on purpose by lobbyists. Lobbyists are people who pay off judges, government officials, local councils. They just literally take money under the table. Even if it's not money, they take like luxury holidays on their dime, things like that, right? You know, you get lifetime membership to the most expensive golf courses and things like that. That's the type of bribes that they take. But you can't fucking compete with lobbyists who own all the major labels. They own Disney, they own, you know. So you're up against it, man. That's part of the reason why I say rock and metal is gonna die. It's because it's being priced out. Authenticity, there are no CBGBs. There are no whole of the world's places that you can go to and have bands playing every night. And then that starts the underground, the bubbling underground, where one band member in a shit band who's amazing gets stolen by a band that are good, but they have like a weak link. That's how the old underground used to go, you know? So it's like the only thing that can save rock and metal, I've said it a lot of times, is live streaming, live performances. That's the only thing that's going to start getting people interested in rock and metal. Because I've noticed on TikTok, there's some average bands that are churning away and they're getting hundreds of thousands of fucking views and likes and tips, and they're getting all sorts of money. There's you guys in chat, you can play these fucking bitches under the table. But a lot of you are stuck in the mud about going on TikTok because they think it's fucking for bitches dancing. TikTok is whatever you like is on TikTok. There is a lane for you, trust me. And it's not just big booty Latinas. Like Deftones, no. Avi Scotland Flower, upper mids on amp sims are responsible for my tinnitus. LOL. Me too, man. Me too. I remember when it happened. I was in the fucking bedroom. DAW. My wife came to the door. I was mixing loud, because you have to mix loud in when you're actually mixing. You have to have loud, because you have to have a good representation of all the frequencies. If it's too low, you're not going to get the highs or the lows. You can get maybe a bit of mids. So I was blasting this as a test mix. She opened the door. I turned my ear, because it beamed directly into my ear, for the rest of my life. My other one came from live, so I got tinnitus in both ears, because this is a competition, and this is my story. Me. The dude. I suppose all the gear and fucking with it took metalheads away from reading cool stories like the old school metalheads did. Geeking out on gear when they should be reading a story that inspires great music. They should be living the story, you know? There's like, I keep saying it, you're going to have way more fun in a failed band, way more fun than wasting your life with a DAW, learning how to record with Pro Tools and shit. You're not gonna fucking make it becoming recording your own shit. You're just not. It's gonna be a heart, soulless, soul destroying fucking time suck, and you're not gonna enjoy it. You know, you're gonna do something, you're gonna put it out, and you're gonna wait, and nothing's gonna happen because it sounds like every other bitch. Yeah, it is. Gear acquisition syndrome. That comes also with knowledge, you know, like what did Andy Sneap use? Like what did XYZ use on this album? Like I got fucking trapped. It did divert everyone's attention away from what moved people in the first place. It's like kicking you in the fucking chest with rock and roll. Rab G. I was a metalhead when I was 3, LOL. Yeah. My 3-year-old, I have a 3-year-old, did not pass the metal test. I took her to Overkill, and because they were playing in Disney, they were playing in the Hard Rock, and she was not a fan of metal. I think Exoda was playing when she was there, and she was like not having it. I had the protective headgear on there and everything. And it's not like I was putting her in the pit, but she did not have a good time. So maybe Disney has claimed her as another victim. Charles Wagner. I was looking at buying another property for $440,000, and I needed to come up with $100,000 down payment, which I had, but they also wanted a high credit score. My score didn't meet it, and we lost out. Holy shit, dude. That's rough. Charles Wagner. After doing the math, the property would have sent me back nearly $500K in interest. Yeah. The math ain't mathing. Now is not the best time interest wise. You know, it's rough. The dude. Shit, I listen to old punk metal like Minor Threat. The song Betrayed. I keep going back in time because the new shit is boring for me. Hey, there might be some shoots of recovery when it comes to like hardcore punk and punk. There's a few shoots in that specific genre. It's starting to get a little bit better. It is really, really massive improvement on the past 10 years, in my opinion. So there's a bit of light on that horizon. And I like that because a lot of the fucking toilets people playing, a lot of the DIY shows, they are popping up. You know, a lot of sketchy like skate parks are having hardcore gigs and things like true hardcore, but they are copycatting. So they are, you know, pretending to be Minor Threat. Human, that's right. Rabji, those two Minor Threat records are stone cold classics. Good shit. The Zeke's 1970 agrees. The dude, hell yeah. Hi Gregory, why the same title over and over? Hey, my last title was different. It said Rock and Metal is Dead, Guitar Nerds ruined it. I've gone on to, did Guitar Nerds ruin Rock and Metal? Statistically, actually, no. Factually, I fact-checked you and labeled you as wrong, even though you're right. Why am I doing the same title? These, I decided to start live streaming, and instead of having a big plan and, you know, overthinking it, I'm just going to start streaming so I can get used to it. So I can get used to chat, so I can get used to all this nerd shit. And I will have a show that's called something in the future when I get a specific time slot, because right now I'm winging it of when I can stream. So it will change. Attorney, Owen, if you make it this far down the comments, talk about how a power trio would best record an album together in the same room. while still being able to make the guitars big and wide enough. Just I think the first step is to don't worry about the guitars being big and wide. You know, like I said with Black Sabbath, go listen to those isolated guitars. They sound anemic. They sound like a fucking wasp. It's the bass and the drums and the bass drum and everything that fills it up. And the guitars sound massive when you have this huge fucking behemoth. If I was to do it, I would have the drums obviously mic'd up, not with 1,000 fucking microphones. And I'd have I would have partitions, even though I love Bleed. If the best albums that I've ever seen, heard, usually have some form of partition, baffles, between the artists. So I would like I try and recreate tones. I would study pictures of classic albums that have been recorded and just look at where everything is. And one good, like a classic rock song, Painted Black by Rolling Stones, just go check out how their setup was. They were all in a room together and there was baffles involved in that. So if I was, my advice would be, don't worry about big wide guitars and worry about the sum of its parts, and take a leaf out of the book of how old school bands used to record. And most of them would record through I've got recreations of old Neve consoles. Just so happens that a lot of these old consoles were part of the magic, the distortion that you get from the preamp. And also a lot of them went through LA2 compress. A lot of them were compressed on the way in. And then you're going on to tape, which further adds tape, distortion, compression, flutter, wow. So you just think about how they did it back then and maybe recreate that aspect, because your band is going to be a different snowflake falling into this mix, right? But if you can borrow something from the classics, that's the only thing I'd steal. I would steal the setup that they used to have for the classic AC/DCs, for the fucking stuff that really moves you. Copy that shit. Just the room, the baffles, the fucking, maybe even see if you can find a picture of a microphone, see how fucking close it is to XYZ. What mic was on the bass guitar? What mic was on the bass drum? Find out that type of shit. Damien Gillard, tuning out, 6 a.m., time to sleep. 6 a.m., time to sleep. My vampire. But, Anthony, good fucking question. Gorilla's Hard Rocker. Oh, he's answering Anthony. If a second guitar player is not an option, your only choice is a stereo guitar setup. Maybe a real amp in one channel and an amp sim on the other. That's not a bad idea. Oopsie. Got to pop out and get another drink. The Faustian Man. Oh, regarding Nine Inch Nails. Yep, he's seen that vid. That's how I found you. That's cool. I don't think that video got enough views. I'm not good at that. I'm not good at figuring out the algorithm, and how to get, I'm not good at marketing, that type of thing. I think I could be. I'm just so fucking don't give a fuck. I should. Oh, Anthony, you actually brought up how did Black Sabbath do it. That was my advice too. You can clearly hear guitar dubs on the rhythm sections of most of their songs. Did they record together as a band or piece by piece? They recorded as a band. There's pictures of it where you can see the bass and the guitar and the drums all in one space. So the bones of the songs were live. They didn't record the drums, then the guitar, then the bass. It was all together. Yes, there's overdubs, but the Zeke 1970, That's What I Get is a friggin' awesome song. Rab G. Al Jokerson was originally a cheesy synth pop artist. He used to affect a funny posh English accent. I've seen the photos, man. The headshots of the first photos of Ministry. They look like fucking Gary Newman spin-off band. Gorillaz Hard Rocker. I think Sabbath did both. They did one guitar and the rest together, and then Tommy Iommi recorded more guitars over it. Yep, that's what I think. The Zeke 1970. Menza also had some UFO sightings. I didn't know that. Maybe they give him his talent. Ryan Swain. Metal either needs to hire femboys or be a masculine, manly man that parties and is rich to get girls into metal. A big part, the most popular time in metal for women was when it was at its most misogynistic. The most era where girls were dancing in cages topless. That's the era that women liked the most. Am I being sexist? No. Am I talking facts? Yes. That's just how it is. Imagine this. Women like sex, drugs, and rock and roll, just like we all do. They are not getting that from these fucking guitar nerds today, so... And there is no shortage of femboys in metal right now. I don't even care about it, but it's just like the first bite is with the eye sometimes, you know? Rab G, Iommi's overdubs were epic. He tried replicating the original take and then go off on weird tangents. Yeah, they knew. Remember, you had fucking classic producers as well, sprinkling some serious fairy dust. Gorillaz Hard Rocker. There is a Canadian thrash band called Dogs with Jobs, and it's obvious they only had one guitar track, no rhythm during leagues, but it sounded great. I haven't heard of those Dogs with Jobs. That's funny. Ryan Swain. Well, math is racist. YouTube hates racism. Yeah, math is racist, apparently. After decades of left-run teachers' unions, the US slipped to 35th in the world in math. But kids are more depressed than ever, and they're depressed because they're told they're either oppressed or they are the oppressor. So it's great. Thanks, left-run teachers' unions, you fucking corrupt scumbags. It's not the left, by the way. It's lobbyists have taken it over, and they made America dumb on purpose, so nobody's intelligent enough to fucking ask a question, let alone know the answer to the question. Controversial. Charles Wagner. Paul Allender wrote the best Corrosion of Conformity COF songs. Not Corrosion of Conformity. It's Cradle of Filth songs. Ryan Swain. Metal went from a good-looking party animals to that guy with the peanut butter sculptures from bench warmers for musicians. We give ourselves too much beef stew and become the fart. Amen, dude. Rant 137, Jerry Lee Lewis. That's right, yeah. He married his fucking cousin. See, rock has some sketchy roots. Really sketchy roots. Like, if you look at my why women don't listen to rock and metal, I talk about Chuck Berry and the origins of why. I'm not even going to say it. You just have to watch my video on that. It's fucking disgusting, but funny. Yeah, Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis, fucking all these old rock guys were absolute pieces of shit. But sexy. Tune. Are you the Tune? That would be great. They're a good band. Got any tips on a tube screamer with asymmetrical clipping option, silicon, germanium, and better bass control? I contacted Analog Man and forget all the annoying pedals on the market. Analog Man is a great start. He's seriously good pedals. When it comes to tube screamers, honestly, You can't beat a 1980 Black Label TS9. There's something about it, man. I don't know what it is. I think it's the chip. I think it's the old JRC chip that just makes things moreish in the hands. To tape, it doesn't really translate as well. It's that, I call it the 5%, but you can't beat the old Black Label Tube Screamer. Black Label just means the back of it. This is how you know to buy a good Tube Screamer. Make sure it doesn't have the CE, was it CE or CS stamp, the manufacturing stamp that it's certified. Because before that, they had the good old chips. It was really with the old TS9. It's really about the resistors. They had these green resistors versus, I think after that they become a different color. But if you see a Tube Screamer and it's opened up and it has all green resistors, fucking buy it. It's gonna be $1,000 if they know what they have. But some people don't know what they have. If you see a Tube Screamer without that CE sticker, and I think the serial number starts with or ends in 81 or something like that, that's the one to get, in my opinion. My own distortion pedal that I brought out tried to take a few leaves out of the book for the Tube Screamer when it comes to the chip. But I actually go with old Burr Brown chips, not the JRC chips, the old Texas ones. Fucking shut up, nerd, guitar nerd, ruining metal with your fucking gas. Anthony Gates, Roger Waters is back. I love Roger, man. Search Circle of Tone and Pink Floyd. And I have a couple of videos on them. The dude, Circle of Tone, I didn't say you were putting politics and other stuff into the conversation. Please don't take it personally. I dig your channel, bro. No, I didn't. I know what you're saying. Gorilla's Hard Rocker, tune, Walrus Audio, Ages seems to be the best solution. Yeah. Yeah, when it comes to the silicone clip-in and stuff, it's like, yeah, it's horses for courses, but just for a boost, to give me what I want, the old TS9, you can't fucking beat it, in my opinion. And including modern Maxon Tube Screamers, they just don't have those resistors. So it's a little, it could even be down to the fucking solder. How thick the solder was. June, many live venues also have some crap sound systems, not good setup for electric guitar. That's true. China flooded American venues with cheaper alternatives, and they would actually fudge the numbers when it comes to the wattage and when it comes to the actual frequency range of speakers. So people were sold a bill of goods. They'd go to the NAMM, they'd hear the system, they'd see the specs, they wouldn't be able to listen to it full blast, but the specs would outdo, say, old Crown or old PV or whatever, power amps and speakers. And so on paper, it's better, louder, more fidelity than the old school shit. But then they get it delivered and installed and it would sound fucking anemic. So China flooded the US market with cheaper alternatives that were glorious spec'd out, but actually sounded kind of lame. So that's a big part of a lot of venues got fucking bamboozled. Because first bite is with the eye when it comes to, remember the Celestion speakers, the frequency range, where the more mids the better the speaker, you know what I mean? Don't mix with your eyes, kids. Ryan Swain, Owen, my former co-worker that befriended me is signed with Warner, and he'll get his agent and manager to sign me an independent deal with Warner once I get live video. I'm going to use that to insult metal. Good luck, man. Yeah, dude, it's all about who you know. Anthony Gates, Carti, Opium. Playboy Carti. BMC Guitar. My band has 3 albums, working on a fourth, and we haven't gotten anywhere. Why? Because we do it for fun. No one cares about instrumental prog. That's for fucking damn sure. There's so much instrumental prog out there. Just just watch my progressive metal video drinking game and try and just avoid all those to stand out, to avoid all those tropes. Tune. I agree with you on recording. It's a challenge with drummers though, and for people like myself, there's an issue with over drumming drummers in metal. That is fucking huge. Over drumming is massive, a massive problem. The dude. The old schoolers were living it and were more well read, reading intelligent horror and other literature like Lovecraft, and wrote songs based on the stories. The Outsider by Lovecraft is a classic. Lovecraft, man. That was a vibe reading that as a teenager. It has a dark and brooding fucking it just grips you. His writing is so, and it's kind of like convoluted writing. It's kind of like a crazy person writing. But here, just from, there would be hooks in certain paragraphs. You'd read a couple of paragraphs and it would be like rantings almost. But then there would be like a hook in amongst the paragraph, and it was chilling and dark and cool. And then you get Call of Cthulhu. One of the best fucking metal instrumentals of all time. Do, do, do. Mason Dean Dale. There is so many sick and raw metal bands today. No, in my opinion. Charles Wagner, ATR 2-inch tape ran me $500. Oh, dude. I'm going VHS, man. VHS hi fi. I keep talking about it. I still haven't done it. Matt Turner, if I'm not mistaken, you were still in Wales doing the Mannix Cool Cymru. Were you into that scene at the time? Do you jam MSP or the contemporaries? I actually, at that time, I was into tight metal. I was into tight thrash, and I appreciated Manic Street Preachers. And but I never got into the alt rock Brit, the alternative British guitar scene. That was pretty good at the time. It still lacked the rock and metal, especially rock in Britain. Talk about dropping the fucking torch. We held the torch high. Led Zeppelin and the fucking Beatles and Rolling Stones. We were the ruled Britannia. Even my dad's band Badfinger, you know, that era of fucking music was so great. And holy shit, what's going on with rock in Britain right now? I mean, god damn. Soft Play are coming out with a new album soon. So I've got some hopes for Soft Play, formerly known as Slaves. But they're too woke to have the band name Slaves because they're very sensitive lefties. So they had to change their band name. Even though it's obvious what their band name meant. Like we were all slaves, you know what I mean? But they're not literally, you know, South African slaves. Like fucking hell, guys. Lighten up. And what a fucking terrible band name. Soft Play. Soft Play for a British punk band? What the fuck? Could anyone suggest some good newer British rock acts that are bubbling up? Because I've been looking and I can't find shit. Yeah, Manic Street Preachers, a good representation of Welsh. I saw a lot of similar bands to them when they were coming up. There was quite a few good Welsh bands that never really broke through. NATO, hey, how's it going? Oscar Barrett, I got a badass drummer and sampler multi-effect. I don't mean to laugh at you. A badass in the same paragraph as a sampler, multi-effect, and drummer. Are we in 1999? NATO. Hey dude, how are you? I sent you an email through your site in regards to doing a show together. Hit me up. Did you? I'll check it out. I might have looked at it and, sad shit going on. D&D FPV. Hey from Australia. I'm not set up for that yet though, but I will be, and I can use you as a test launch. So I'm just going to use you. D&D FPV. Hey from Australia. I love the channel. What combo amp that doesn't weigh a ton would you recommend to play small venues playing mainly old school rock for $100,000? I would highly recommend. It's kind of weighty, but relatively. I would highly recommend a Mesa. Actually, not for live. I was going to say the Mesa Mark III combo, but to switch channels, it has channel switching. What do they call it? EQ is not tweakable on separate channels. So yeah, I would have said the Mark III. What light combo would I recommend for rock? See the because I'm so used to big old fucking stacks that my combo expertise isn't that great. And the ones I would suggest, things like old Zwengel 1x12s, they like unobtainium. So I can't recommend a small light rig for rock. It just has to be fucking big and ballsy, man. I just can't give you advice that is gonna waste your time. If you yeah, rock and roll is fucking Marshall Stacks, man. Let me think about it. Tune, just an example, which is probably not exceptional. I saw Abat and Obituary in Philly and could not hear the guitars except close to the stage, but the bass was thunderous. Yeah, there's always been a problem, really, in those specific genres where guitars live kind of do get lost a bit. But when it's done well, Obituary, it sounds fucking insane. Sometimes it's really, really dependent on the venue. So if you got a bad sound guy and a bad system, you're not going to make out a fucking note of these genres. It's always been a problem. MD for Man. The problem with modern metal drummers is certainly not one of skill, but of taste. Yeah, it's of power and application and swing and groove and dirt and fucking sweat and tears. There's none of that. It's tippy tappy, you then barely fucking break a sweat. You can see their legs barely moving and with these fucking samples being pumped out. You know what I mean? They got their headset on with their count-ins. Click, 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 click. The whole gig is snapped to a gig with fucking laptops up the ass. It's like, fucking, that is not rock and metal. People try and say, oh, I'm just an old man. I'm a fucking software test tech. I know more about VSTs, modern technology, modern production than most people, you know? And I just know it does not work in rock and metal. It is a failed fucking model. The silence from the public is deafening. They don't like it. Other musicians don't even listen to modern rock metal albums after they've come out. You know, there's nobody fucking pouring over Metallica's new release, 4 or 5 times. It's like you give it one listen and then you're done. Because Metallica pretty much sum up modern metal, how fucking soulless it is, the new Metallica album. It sounds like a fucking camper, even though they're using good amps and all that shit. But they're using modern miking techniques. They're using modern mixing techniques. It just sounds like a fucking vanilla sausage. MD for Man, somewhere along the lines, drummers started playing like the loops guitarists used to record riffs and to do the drumming. As a result, it became way too twiddly. Fucking hell yeah, dude. I agree. The dude, to the guy that said sick and raw metal today, respectfully, no. LOL, that's pretty much what I said. Because with the raw stuff, it's now contrived, where they're trying to sound like, early black and metal. Then it's contrived. Then it's not raw. It's not you being honest with your own band and your capabilities. It's just you coloring within the lines of an raw metal act from back in the day. And it's fucking, you can spot them a mile off. And that maybe, I'm being too judgmental and too fucking neckbeardy and too hipster when I'm talking like that, but the proof is in the true litmus test if the music is good is a vibrant metal underground, a vibrant metal scene, and normies getting gateway bands, to fucking rocking the masses, and it's not. I am desperate for that, man. I'm desperate for an old, capture process of a band like AC/DC, but a new style, a new singer, a new technique. Not a new technique, just a fucking new anthem. I need something, I'm desperate for it. Krillis Hard Rocker. I would take the orange TH30H combo on a foot switch, killer amp. Yeah, it's designed though for rock that would be good, but there's some types of rock where that might be a bit flubby for. That is a good shout, but yeah. Unfortunately, because he said light combo, unfortunately, the best speakers tend to be heavy as fuck. Like the old the G12T-75s, they had massive fucking magnets on them and they weigh a ton, so it's hard to find a light neodymium magnet, light as fuck, but they just don't sound that good, AV Scotland Flower, Britain, is that still a country? No, London, Britain is my city. Who said that? Fucking that Jake Paul song. England is my city. And there's an English guy that read that because they wrote the lyrics for him. And he literally said, England is my city. He's from fucking England. He knows it's a country. What the fuck? Mason Dean Dale. Check Defeated Sanity. Don't even record to a click. Defeated Sanity. Yeah, I haven't checked them out. Maybe I will. Tune. Rock in Britain died around FIFA 15. Hey, man. I think it might have been Championship Manager 2 that killed rock. Because everybody started playing that shit. Can you anyone in the chat ever play Championship Manager 2 in Britain? It was fucking so addictive. I would sit there, obviously with Tottenham Hotspur, because come on, you Spurs. I would be drinking fucking, what was it? I think Pepsi Max had just come out back then, and I'd be playing uh Championship Manager 2, which is a soccer simulation game. Championship Manager 2 on my fucking DX66 PC back in the day, fucking slow as fuck. I'd be playing that, listening to like Typo Negative, or I'd be listening to Green Day when Ducky came out. Everyone was listening to that. I was listening to that. Fucking living life, bro. In my pod, eating my bugs, not playing guitar, and wasting all my fucking time. You're right. Computer games have a massive negative impact in rock and metal because it's way more fun to have escapism than spend 5 hours a day sounding like a fucking strangled cat trying to learn how to play guitar. Good, that's a good post. That is an underrated post where certain like FIFA and stuff like that. It was like I said it in before. The new rock stars are streamers. Shroud, Ninja, Doctor Disrespect, people like that are massive. You have no idea how much kids look up to these people. You know. Aurora's Peak. Boss Katana is the best. That is a good one for a light, decent sounding live rig. Lots of options. That isn't like people take the piss out of the Katana, but it is not bad. I think maybe the Marshall, is it the Origin? Might be a good one for rock. You know, it's actually a good sounding little fucking combo. Is it the Origin? Tune 100-watt head and a 2x12 cabinet, no combos. I agree. At least a 2x12. 2x12 on each side. Marshall DSL 40, that's another good one. It's a bit heavy though. PV6505 plus combo with a decent speaker. That shit is heavy as fuck though. And that is a good choice. I use that combo, well, the 5150 combo, a lot. I think the 5150 combo is my favorite tone from all of the 5150 range. All of them. It sounds so fucking good. I don't know what the difference is with the 60 watts. You know, I think the low end, because the 5150 low end is fucking insane. It's massive. All the producers, the first thing they do is fucking take that low end out. The 60 watt, it kind of doesn't need to take out the low. So what you actually get is your performance. You don't have some fucking chopped anemic EQ, you know? Good shout, man. Fucking good quality combo. 5150, you can't fucking, or the 65, you can't beat them. For tone, the speakers are garbage. Well, not garbage. The speakers, especially on the new ones, yeah. BMC guitar, you going to work again, bitch? All right, I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Yeah, keep on suggesting. Where is a lightweight 1x12 combo that you could use live for rock? Keep on suggesting, because it's not my forte, because I am big, loud, greasy, hairy fucking guitars. Oh, my back. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, rock and metal is dead. You have this old fat fuck fucking talking about his bad back and talking about his injuries from weight training. How do I make myself look like I have a halo with this moon behind me? Do I look more angelic? Is that giving the whole halo effect? Pretty good, right? Is this my thumbnail? Can I try and look sexy? Looking in. There's my thumbnail. All right, chat. Ryan Swain. Owen, Gojira is metal as can be. Metal is a material on the earth. They sing about saving the earth. Metal is heavy rock. Gojira is heavy rock, yeah. What did I say? Drummer. Keith Gojira is the drummer. Drummer, 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 drummer. Krilla's hard rocker. A better high gain channel than orange, but a dirtier clean channel depends on your needs. It is horses for courses. Get specific with the type of rock, because there's some rock that just an orange combo would be good for. Matt Turner. Metallica ought to have the gritty tones from the first records going on if they actually want to go back to their roots. Now even Lars is too chicken. Yeah, it's what kind of sucks, right? Is Kirk Hammett has even been. I think he's got a new guitar, Greenie, the classic 1959 Les Paul, the best guitar in the world, and he's even gone, huh? Passive pickups are better than EMGs, you know. So he is trying to go down this more analog-y type of route, and they're getting the old amps in the studio. They're trying to do the old, but they got modern fucking mic techniques. You know, it sucks, man. It's just modern. Whoever's producing and handling Metallica needs to be fucking shot. I tell you what, because they can't do it. Metallica can't self-produce anymore. They need like a Rasmussen or somebody who has his finger on the pulse. Me, from the guitar aspect at least, they need somebody to fucking translate what's coming out of the best right-handed metal, all right, and some of the most. And Kirk Hammett needs to kick up the ass. He needs to stop fucking plagiarizing himself with his wah and his fucking blue skills. They need somebody to shake him like that. Say, hey, you know, fucking. But they are too big to be told, I guess. Who knows? But I think if I was one of their engineers, I think I would fucking take some of these, like a Langner modded Marshall. Are you fucking kidding me? With James's right hand, you would melt your tits off. With my mic in and shit. What's up? Pick me. Choose me. Metallica are done. There's no fucking hope. Tune. Try Pepsi Zero Sugar with mango flavored drops added. Oh, saucy. Right now, which I'm about to go and run and get another drink, I'm using sparkling ice caffeinated drink, zero sugar, with vitamins and antioxidants. Sure, these vitamins are going to go out in my piss, and none of them are going to be actually entering my sugar walls. Does anyone know where my sugar walls reference is from? Come inside my sugar walls. Answer in the chat. If you will get a fucking Valhalla sausage sticker, which I should invent for the chat. Mason Dean Dale. Colin Watson and Kurt Ballou are still recording bands the honest way. Yeah, but that's another conversation. Yeah, but you know, the new wave of American heavy metal kind of fucking sucks. You know, metalcore kind of fucking sucks. So it's like, you know, it's just fucking Cookie Monster vocals and the old tropes, you know, from that era. So I don't know. Because what hits has he had? You know, maybe he's had something, maybe he's been a part of something big, but everything he's recording seems to be flopping. I might be out of the loop. I mean, Colin Richardson, you know, people like that were the best back in the day. What's going on? Acoustic G100 FX with a quality distortion pedal. I don't know about that, man. Lightweight 1x12 is Atomic CLR. I don't know what that is. A 30 1x12 combo, Black Star ID60. Good fucking choice. Black Star gets so much fucking hate. So much hate. Which is insane. The Black Star have some good fucking amps, man. Dude, they are. What's it called? Is it the Artisan 100? What is the flagship? That's the loudest fucking amp I've ever heard in my goddamn life. I modded mine. Holy shit! To get a sweet spot on that thing, it was like I was worried that because I got some metals neckbeard and I got old greenbacks and blackbacks and shit. I'm like, I'm fucking scared for these speakers. I might have actually blown a couple of speakers with that head. What's it called? Is it the Artisan 100? Their flagship, the Black Star. What? But when it's a fucking amazing clean as well for a hard rock metal. You know, you got to really push it. It's kind of a medium gain amp. Come on, old man. Laney LX65 plugged into a decent 1x12 will do you. Or one of those little Joyo amps. I don't know, man. Matt, we might be on different wavelengths on that. I love you though. Tune, D&D, if you want Marshall, you try the DSL40 combo, but you need to swap out the speaker. Yeah, that's good advice. For example, put in a Warehouse Reaper Plus, that's a good one, or the new Eminence DV77. I haven't tried that. However, cabinet is open and you lack bass. No, actually, with the cabinet is open, you mic the front and the back. So then you get a bit more bloom in the low end. So it's actually a good miking technique. To hear that technique, check out my Arse and Chains video. That's a 1x12. One in the front, one in the back. Being spit roasted. Like a hoa. Ivy Scotland Flower. Phil's back is busted as hell and he's still churning it out. Respect to the guy. Which Phil? Oh, Phil Alsalmo? Yeah, he's fucked, man. He's jumped off. He's been doing the thrash metal Dave Lee Roth back in the day a bit too much. Dude, I saw Peak Pantera. Peak Pantera were a thing to behold, man. Holy shit. What a fucking band. No wonder they were the biggest thing at one point. No wonder. A lot of it was from their live act, where people were getting their minds blown. It wasn't just the MTV shit. Ryan Swain, here's my budget rig. Crate GX 2x12 combo, Nux Recto Distortion, Amazon OD, Boss NS2 used, Cabin 10 band EQ, guitar is a pink as Edison Flying V with old 80s pickups, good choice. Install guy sold me for $80 for both. Holy shit, that is budget. Those Amazon pedals like $25, right? D&D FPV. Thanks everyone, some good suggestions there. Hey D&D, speaking of small rigs, I have an answer for you. Crate Vintage Club 30. It's a 1x12 combo. You want to swap out that speaker for something better for rock, like an old English 75 Celestion. The crate, I've got the Vintage Club 15, which is the 20 watt, or the Vintage Club 20, which is the 20 watt version. Go check out, search Circle of Tone pickups, and you can hear my crate. You can hear rock tones with a crate Vintage Club through a 1x12 with a greenback. So there's a 1x12 with a club. I say the 30 because that's a combo with a 1x12. So yours will be a little bit probably better than the 20 because it's got better power tubes. So my actual answer is a Crate Vintage Club 30 combo. Boom. My crate, I call it my shit brick. You might have seen it in my old videos. So I'm actually using the shit brick to advertise my own pickups. So that's how much stock I have in that. I didn't want to put put my pickups, because my pickups are budget pickups. They're pretty cheap. They're relatively cheap, for a YouTuber's pickup, like $69. So something is important to me for a cheap light amp that other people would be able to buy to get the tone that you hear in my video. It was a Crate Vintage Club. It sounds like a fucking Marshall through a power soak. It's exactly what it sounds like. So it's obviously not as good because Marshall's through a power soak. A lot of hype goes around that. A power soak does not sound as good as a loud Marshall. I don't give a fuck. I actually don't think. Anyway, I don't want to go on a nerd tangent, but that is my recommendation for that question, and that is a fucking good answer. Avi Scotland Flower. I never understood the close mic BS, and I thought the entire Sneap forum was gaslighting back in the day. Yeah, isn't it? It's like, just think about who Andy Sneap was recording. Like fucking absolute legendary players. So it's not all about his technique, even though he did have a really good way of capturing some of these bands, especially Nevermore. Andy Sneap, Nevermore era, holy fucking shit. And again, kids, drummers, how good was that fucking drummer? The Faustian Man, Prince. I love Prince. Oh yeah, about the Come Inside My Sugar walls. Yeah, what, you got it, man. You got it. It was a Prince protege. That drummer chick, what was her fucking name? Come Inside My Sugar Walls was like a lyric from one of her songs. Is it Pat Benatar? I think it's Pat Benatar. You got it. You win. You're a Valhalla sausage for a day. I give this to you. You are knighted, sir. For those who don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, I got an inside joke I've said a few times saying come inside my sugar walls. It was a lyric that the PMRC, which was a Parents Against fucking rock music or whatever, because they thought that it was too sexy. And they thought, also Sheila Easton was too sexy. So, and it's funny because you can see this stuffy woman reading the lyrics. It's come inside my sugar walls. It's so funny seeing her like losing her mind about it. Rock and roll, bitch. Yeah, Faustian Man, you got it. Sheena Easton, there you go, Rabji. She played the Glasgow City of Culture Festival and got booed for putting on a ridiculously phony American accent. Oh, you can't do that to the Scots. The Scots know. The Scots know what's up. They don't put up with any of that shite. Ryan Swain, the acoustic G100 effect is massively good cleans. I do agree it's an underrated clean. Pair that up with the quality kick-ass distortion, you got a helitone. Yeah, it is kind of, I give you that. But for rock, you need those tubes, man. Agent Steel. Would you still record bands if they offered to pay? I do not have the time. It would have to be a lot of money. But yeah, the answer is yes. But I'd only want to really engineer, and I'd only want to be an engineer, not an actual producer. Because I do not, my mixing is an afterthought. I'm all about capturing the fucking the tone. I'm all about moving the microphone. I'm all about the sound of the room. I'm all about the quality speaker, the actual fucking cable, everything that connects you to the music. That's what I obsess about. So having a band in there, me recording drums would be a fucking disaster. Horses for courses. I'm a good fucking horse if you want a guitar sound, put it that way. Matt Turner, the Joyos rip. I promise. The Joyo amps, I've heard them. I dig them. Do you know a really good low low light rig is the Randall oh, Killer Texas Tone did a demo on it. It's a RX 100 or some shit. They all sound they all named the same. But his demo of that shit, what a fucking beast, man. He's got a good right hand too. He has the Chug Life. If you search Chug Life in Circle of Tone, it's a great a Facebook group for people obsessed with Chug, and he's one of the best at it. Rab G. Blackie Lawless just cancelled his 2003 European tour due to a dodgy back. 2023, sorry. Yeah, I read about that too. Blackie, poor bastard. Ryan Swain. The Nux was 40 on the Amazon and 20 for the Kaling 10 band. Kadeen 10 band EQ was 30. The NS2 was 70 and the crate was 150. That's a cheap old rig, bro. SoCal Surfs. Would like to see amp companies come out with a tube preamp solid state power section designed amps. I believe this amp design has the potential to sound better than all tube amp designs. That has been you know, I don't know. I think it's the other way around, kind of. I prefer the power section to be tube driven and whatever's in front to be solid state. In my experience, it's been better, but I could be wrong. All right, boys, I'm going to take a quick break and I will be back. So, you gotta check out one thing first. I'll be right back. So, chat amongst yourselves. I told you I'll be right back. Boom. Rocking the Fiji water because I'm fucking fancy AF. Since I have the glasses on, let's see if anything's happening in Twitch land. Oh, we got another comment in Twitch, guys. My Twitch career is being launched. Wolf Creek Observatory. Cheers, mate. Hey, boy. How's it going? Ba. Wolf Creek Observatory. We only bench press for... We only bench press 4 R70Ws into a very rusted out F-150. Okay. Have another drink. I don't know what the hell you talking about. Is that a truck of 4 R770WS? That's what I get for going to fucking Twitch. Twitch comments, usually a bit of a shit show. Maybe you got some misspells. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm British. We don't know shit about anything when it comes to vehicles. NATO, what the fuck is up with zero fret? Yeah, basically it makes Mason Dean Dale answers it. It makes open strings sound the same as fretted notes, but it can get worn out and click in and out of ruts when you bend. Oh, that sucks. Nathan M. Walk Through Exits Only is the most recent metal record that I truly loved. Brought me back to the golden years of Pantera. Much thicker sounding too. Tune. Typical. Yeah, Typical is my bitch. I'm so hot for that woman. Alexander Dran. Oh man, I finally caught you live. Hey buddy, how's it going, Alexander? Good to have you. Ryan Swain. Owen, do you have a date when Metal Nerds took over the land of metalers via invasion? I do. The date was the release day, the exact day that Heartwork was released by Carcass. And that was the end of that. Melodeath fucking ruined rock and metal. Everyone chasing perfect fucking tone and massive perfect drums and, you know, the melodic. I don't know. That's the one. I'm not blaming the record itself. I'm blaming the copycat. So that is the date that rock and metal got fucking lame. That launched a million fucking internet bots because there was dial-up back then, and that's when the fucking how to get that sound shit start in earnest. Naruto, a tube screamer in front of a Joyo zombie into a 4x12. Frickin' rips. And, you know, sometimes the little lamps that could, they do. Some of them do. My shipwreck is fucking epic. It's a fire breather. Ivy Scotland Flower. Owen, what's your opinion on the now defunct crank amps? People hated them, but they always sounded very aggressive to me. Also, the Randall V2. The crank amps were fucking terrible. They were terrible. They were just toneless. They were loud. They were loud. But the sweet spot was impossible. It was just impossible. So yeah, bad design. Unreliable, non-musical. They were just pretty much trying to be louder than Marshall. And congrats, you were louder. We didn't sound good. Ryan Swain, we all know heaven is filled with horses, and there's a guy who was filled by a horse. You're talking about Mr. Hands? R.I.P. Mr. Hands. Matt Turner, opinion on Glenn Fricker's test video on tubes versus solid state. I find myself in the camp that they don't matter now, but if anyone could convince me otherwise, it's probably me, as in me. I don't think I've checked the tubes versus solid state. I don't think I checked out that album of his. I like Glenn because he's one of the few that insists on real drums, you know, not drum replacement. So we need more of that in rock and metal for sure. And people complain about his channel, but he's an ally, I'm telling you, when it comes to fucking vanilla sausages. Even he now is turned against the Vintage 30. In fact, first time I met him was like fucking 8 years ago. And I was talking to him in Nam and I was telling him about the over reliance on Vintage 30s and everything. And he didn't get, he was like, you be kidding me. Vintage 30 is the fucking speaker. And I say, no, dude, I'm telling you, it's part of the problem. And now he's got more experience down the line and he's realized the fucking box that the Vintage 30 put us all in. He did a really, really fucking good video on the Chinese Vintage 30. So they were terrible for years. And apparently they've changed the gasket or something. Maybe even it could be down to the fucking dust cap, but they changed something on the new Chinese Celestians where they sound way better, more like the old English ones. So I'm a little bit sketched on, because I know at NAMM, things like Randall's, they'd put out amps, right, which were not the same innards as production amps, as production Randalls, right? So they'd have the prototypes there at NAMM, and they would sound fucking amazing. But then when you get them, they'd run into so many problems with manufacturing and keeping up to the standard that Randall had, that to in the R&D they couldn't actually put out the same amp. So I'm hoping that they didn't send him a fucking one-off speaker, you know what I mean? That doesn't sound like the actual production. So I'm hoping that isn't the case. But I have seen companies do that. I've seen them do it, where they send out protos to people that sound nothing like the production models. My opinion, the best vintage 30 is the old Mercer England vintage 30, slightly different to the English one. Attorney, tubes matter not so much as far as the audience perception of tone, but the playability and interaction between amp and guitars. A big thing with tubes, like I mentioned earlier about how you can turn into an amp and make it sing, and also there is a connect, with a tube power section. There is a connect with your right hand that is so fucking instant, and with solid state it's even more instant. So there can be good aspects of solid state which makes it tight, but there's the weight. There's weight in the bottom that's missing with massive transformers and massive fucking tubes and all that shit. So it's like, it's horses for courses, but generally I'd go fucking tube power section any day. Ryan Swain, Owen, challenge Glenn on the tunes and Tonewood stuff. With Glenn, I think he might have a few blind spots with pickups, because he says, pickups all sound the same and the rest of it. But with me, a lot of the pickups I love are like 7 or 8K. So he's in the 15K range usually. So then the more distortion, the more output on a pickup. I think I'm being general, I might be wrong, but the more output on a pickup, the sameier they get. So then they do kind of sound the same, even with different magnets in, with A5s or A3s or whatever. So there's, with me and pickups, I have my own pickups, which I'll be releasing soon again. You can tell the difference between pickups more with certain setups, with certain the lower output ones are going to sound more, say a different magnet in the same pickup. You're going to hear it more on a lower output pickup than an active, modern Fluence pickup or whatever. When it comes to Tonewood, there's not a lot of difference in Tonewood. It's almost imperceivable in my experience. But I'm a big fan of Tonewood when it comes to an unplugged guitar. There's a big reason why I picked a certain a thick cap, and a thick mahogany body, because I believe when it comes to anchor points, it's all about anchor points. And the more dense the wood, maple, this is one of the more dense woods, the better your anchor point. What you don't want is vibration. So if you have something, if this bridge is drilled into something which isn't that, so it isn't quite, it's softer wood, it's like, a pine caster or something, it's not going to be quite as sustainable. It's not going to sustain as much. If you have certain materials which aren't, it's all in anchor points with me rather than Tonewood. I would overlook Tonewood, and I'm more about solid wood, solid necks, solid, the way the wood on the neck is you go against the grain about you run 3 different pieces of wood against reverse the grain in the neck and then glue them together, and it's going to be way stronger than a one piece. It's going to bend less. It's going to actually be more solid. And then the more solid something is, the less vibration you get on the guitar, and vibration takes away the power from the string vibration. So I'm all about big fucking honking tuners, bone nut, massive solid fucking bridge, and it has to be drilled into something fucking super dense, because then the energy of the string isn't taken away, so you can sustain for fucking ever. You know what I mean? If the guitar is vibrating with fucking cheap light wood because you think tone wood is a myth, the actual guitar is going to resonate. And when something, it's like having a pitchfork and shaking it. The pitchfork is going to be way better if it's in a vise. If you go ding, put it in a vise instantly, it's going to ring for longer. If it's in something that's not as solid, it's, you know, it's not going to fucking ring for days. So that's what I'm all about, construction over tone wood. Plus, I think tone wood is disgusting when it comes to rosewood and ebony. It's a fucking shit show. It's literally run by cartels, and people are getting murdered over it. So do you want a species of tree to go out of existence to get a 1% fucking difference in sound, and it feels nicer on the fretboard when you play it? Because, you know, ebony does feel fucking good. But when I talk about tone wood, different woods do sound different acoustically. So it's going to sound, if I play my guitar versus a PRS, the PRS is like a tuning fork wrapped in fucking rubber. There's so much thick, gloopy, shitty, fucking beautiful, you know, paint on it and shit, and lacquer, and it's like putting a tuning fork in fucking in rubber. So when you're actually, most of the time I'm playing, I'm not even plugged in. So I want this acoustic to sound good on my lap when I'm watching fucking TV. So that tone wood is legit, but whether it comes through the pickup or not is fucking negligible. It's pointless even worrying about it. So yeah, that is my tone wood fucking opinion. Bop, bop, bop. What's going on? Tune. Glenn Fricker doesn't have a damn clue about guitar tone for guitar players playing in a rehearsal, jamming, or practice at home with the right kind of sound. Fricker is a studio guy with studio gear. Yeah, it's I don't agree with that. I honestly think relatively, he's good for the scene. Let's just put it that way. Alexander Duran. Owen, do you think you'll ever try recreating the Rammstein tone? I've seen people try and fail badly. I've looked into it. If you know exactly what they used with quotes from the guitarists at the time, I'd be down, because I've tried. I think I have a folder on them somewhere. It's on this phone, so I can't get at it and look at my notes, because I do have some notes written down about Rammstein. So that will be fun, doing a Du Hast recreation. It'd be the type of thing I would do, put it that way. But I've never had solid info on it. Ryan Swain at Tune. It's because of feel and timing with a feel and weight. The frequency stuff has no difference. The test should be how you show the legitimate track and the wrong ones, then mix it in blind. And Ryan Swain also comes in with R.I.P. Mr. Hans, the favorite Boeing engineer of us sausages. Was he a Boeing engineer? Oh, dude. If you don't know, he got effed by a horse and died. Rock and roll. Don't judge my kink. Agent Steel. Have you heard of Tailgunner from the UK? They're a bunch of younger guys playing old school heavy metal music. I've heard of them. I haven't listened to them because the new wave of British heavy metal clones is like fucking nails on a chalkboard to me. I'm presuming they sound like that. It's a very British fucking name though. I like it. Ryan Swain. Oh, and when I get paid, I'm gonna sub to Patreon. Shout out to the band talk. Thanks, man. Oh, my band talk. So yeah. If you want to hear, we talked about Stephen Slate drums earlier. When you search for my album or my band, it won't come up. So maybe try searching for Circle of Tone Talk, like a tick-tock, like a talk of a clock. Circle of Tone Talk, I Don't Care. Search that, it might pop up. But those drums were Stephen Slate drums from back in the day. That was me learning to record, and I put on an album when I was learning to record. And honestly, it sounds actually, it's badly mixed because I'm not good at mixing. The vocals are too low in a mix, things like that. But it's not bad. Avi Scotland Flower. Me releasing a pickup could become a financial success if I market it correctly. Marketing is my weak spot. It really is. I admit it. But I think what I'm going to do, I stopped selling them, even though I have some in storage. I might just blow them out. So watch this space. Boop, boop, boop. It's getting a bit late. Might be time to bail. Tune Owen. I don't suppose you would be interested in trying out the Fishman Will Adler pickups. I've been thinking about getting some, but not fully motivated for a while. Would like to hear them. The problem I have with Fishman, I have yet to hear people playing them that I actually like the sound. So it might just be just bad luck. But Fishman Fluence era pickups have generally gone hand in hand with the classic modern metal sound, which I fucking despise. So I don't know. I can't judge without trying them. So, I'm open for it. But honestly, my pickup swapping days, my tube swapping days, my speaker swapping days, gas and worrying about tone ruined my fucking career. It did nothing for me. It did absolutely nothing. So I'm done with it. I think I know enough from what I've learned over the past decade in this channel, really getting into the nitty-gritty of pickups, even including swapping out magnets and overwinding, underwinding, fucking, manual winds and this potting and all that type of stuff. So I've done my due diligence and I've come to certain conclusions, and it's a waste of time. I think worrying about pickups, honestly. SoCal Surfs. Bring back the Damasio Super Distortion. A good fucking pickup. Tone for days. Has a ceramic magnet, but sounds better than most Alnico magnet pickups to my ears. Phil Collins, Def Leppard Tone comes to mind. Those were good. Things like the Damasio Super Distortion. I might have one on one of my guitars. I think it might be on one of my Kramers. Do I have one? Maybe not. What they were great for, because they were higher output pickups, they were great for the Marshalls when people were gagging for more gain. So with a JCM 800, it would be almost like a boost in front of it. So they really, really come into their own in old rigs because of the higher output. Personally, I don't generally like ceramics. They're a bit of a club. I do like, I want the club, my club, to be the power section, the tube power section, and the speakers. That's my club. I like, if I want to add distortion, I use a boost, 1980 TS9 Black Label, again, with the green resistors, the GRC chip. tune. Ramstein tone is EMG81 with whatever big amp. It's not special. Yeah, I don't doubt the EMG81 thing, but the old EMG81s sound different to the new EMG81s because I am a tone beard. Ryan Swain, I've heard of Fishman since 2017 on Halo Guitars Custom Builder. Yeah, Fishman are the new Fishman are the Strymon of modern metal when it comes to pickups. They are good. They are good at selecting the who's who of YouTube land when it comes to marketing their pickups. Very good. All right, guys. Thanks for everything. Thanks for the super chats. You guys are great. And I'll see you next time.